And welcome, everybody. My name is Dan Fishman. I am the executive director of the People for Liberty. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you the host of the show, Princess Rivulet.
Is that how you pronounce my name?
You tell me, how do you pronounce your name?
Dan, I'm dyslexic. Somebody typed it in for me, and I've just been waiting for someone to say it out loud. But
Well,
rivulet, that sounds nice. It's French.
yeah, well, that's my inclination. I always go to, because first of all, it's Valentine's Day, right? Or it's a pre-Valentine's Day show. So I'm going to romantic languages for everything that I say. French is pretty romantic, so I'm going to go with French for my interpretation. Now, if you tell me it's rivulet, I say, okay, fine, but I would spell that TTE instead of just a T on the end. So I pronounce that as rivulet, but it could be rivulet if you want. And you let me know, because one of the things that I like to do is respect for people when I meet them is to ask them how they would like to be addressed. So would you like me to call you Dr. Rivulet?
Ooh, a doctor.
Well,
Wow. No one's ever asked. I guess what a opportunity to define yourself. Like how few people get that. Let's go with Princess Rivulet because that's what I've always said.
rivulet it
Um,
is.
and I'll take notes on the spelling. Dan,
Awesome.
we might have to like do some marketing, but I feel like we could change that. But yeah, guys, hi, I'm Princess Rivulet on the internet. If you follow me through the government, you know my name's something else, but it's probably better that way. I'm super excited to introduce you guys to all the new amazing projects that we have going around the Liberty movement. Especially recently, there's been a lot of fighting, and I want to be able to spread a little love and appreciation for all the great work that we're doing because we're all on the same team working towards the same goals. And I'm just super excited for today. We have a great roster, Dan, if you want to throw that up. Just a lot of amazing people, faces, and projects. And I couldn't be happy with all the turnout. Yeah, we got Kim Ruff, we got Patrick Wynn. A lot of people. We actually are 30 minutes over schedule because I wasn't expecting so many people to say yes. But we're going to power through it.
Which is appropriate. And I'll go ahead and jump in that the first person on the list, you guys will see PFL. And as it turns out, PFL stands for organization that both Princess and I work for. Maybe Your Majesty, if it's Princess. The People for Liberty. People for Liberty is dedicated to this basic idea that liberty is not something that's given to you, right? It doesn't come from a government or anything like that. Liberty is your birthright. And if you fall under the definition of people, if you are human, you have an inclination towards liberty. We all recognize that. Why can't we all get together behind that basic idea and saying we are people who are united towards making the world free? We are the People for Liberty. And so that's who we are. As I said, my name is Dan Fishman. I am the executive director of the People for Liberty. And Princess Rivulet is one of our super talented, self-described mean lord, hostess with the mostest, and running this show, which is Married to the Movement. So we have 2 more minutes in our time. Why don't you tell us what Married to the Movement is about? What's the idea behind this Liberty speed dating?
Well, 7 months ago, I fell in love with the Liberty movement, mainly the people. And you guys have just been so inspirational in the projects that you're willing to undertake and your willingness to speak up for the underdog and fight for things that don't necessarily impact you, but you know is the right thing to do. So I fell in love with the movement, and this was during the Joe Gorgensen campaign. So what I did was, if anyone slid in my DMs, they heard about Joe Gorgensen and libertarianism, and we actually got a lot of people to vote for her that way. So that turned into, instead of being in a committed relationship with Liberty, we married the movement, and now we are fully dedicated to getting the word out about the great projects of the Liberty movement and advancing our positions forward, both politically, socially, and however else, I don't know, economically, spiritually. We'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever is the mechanism that you want to get the word out, that's what it means to be one of the many people of liberty. And so that being said, I look at the schedule and it's time for our first person.
I'm super excited to introduce you guys, actually, because Drew has been one of my first friends in the Liberty movement, an absolute shit poster. He makes me laugh every day, even if he is obsessed with roads. actually taught me everything to know about roads. So let me introduce you to the one and only Drew Kennedy.
I
Hi, Drew.
appreciate y'all having me on.
Happy to have you. Drew, I didn't know that you have a meme page. And as a meme maker myself, I feel slighted that you never invited me to post for you.
Well, I guess I can add you on as an admin there. If you want to follow my page, it is Libertarian Memes and Free Market Dreams. And I've been running that since about the end of 2018. And as of right now, it's a one-man dog and pony show, but
I love it. I love it. Why did you start that meme page?
initially I started that page back before I had any other libertarians on my friends list. And that was just kind of my way of reaching out and talking to other libertarians and, putting my thoughts on stuff out there. And over time, just as I got in more groups, I started adding more and more people. And I think I've got a pretty sizable friends list now and I recognize quite a few people on the roster for the show today that I have on my list. So I'm glad that everybody's here.
We have so many great people. I think you and I have like 1,300 mutual friends. Like, it's such a community that we are able to establish as like shit posters in general. But like, what kind of memes do you post on your page? Like, what kind of humor can we expect?
I mean, it's all basically me dragging the government in every way I can. I mean, that's kind of my shtick.
So like, what do you say? Would you say this is more left leaning or right leaning?
More right leaning, because I mean, I'm definitely a very right leaning libertarian for sure. I mean, if you want to know where I stand on a political quadrant, I mean, basically put me as far into the bottom right hand corner as you can go. But I'm more in favor of the bottom unity idea of not fighting amongst each other if we can help it.
Tell us about the biggest meme you've ever had.
Oh.
The biggest one that I've had is it's a picture of like a pastel painting of a Minuteman loading a rifle. And all it says is loads rifle with fuck your taxes intent.
I love that.
I would have to go look at it, but I think last time I looked, that meme had about like a 20 or 25,000 person reach off of my page.
Damn.
Outstanding.
Damn, Drew. See, this is how we grow the movement. Drew, aren't you going to run for office too?
Yeah, I'm intending for running for New Mexico State House of Representatives in 2022, but I mean that's just tentative, and I'm working on lining that out, but I'm thinking about doing that.
So, like, you're an anarchist, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, why, as an anarchist who like doesn't want government, why is it important that people still run for offices and hold positions?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that are, whether you want to call them ass or diehard libertarians, you want to say, that have an issue with running for office, and some of them won't even vote. But the thing is if we let the Republicrats just run amok with it, we're never going to change anything. It's just going to get worse. So, I mean, if we can hijack their own system from them and then use it against them to get them to leave us alone, possibly, to me, it's worth a shot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly in that, sure, voting is violence and government is awful, but they're using this system against us. So when we participate, it's actually self-defense in a lot of ways, because we are taking their system and using it to defend ourselves from all the tyranny that we don't want.
So as my timekeeper, I have to tell you that we're at the 4-minute mark of the speed dating.
This wasn't enough time.
That's what speed dating's all about. Anything you want to close us out with, Drew? We're going to have Lou Starsky coming up next. How do people find you?
Well, I mean, like I said, you can go follow my meme page, which I see that you have that posted on the bottom of the chat right there, or the live stream, I'm sorry. If you want, you should be able to find my profile and add me. I'm close to full on my friends list, but if I get there, I'll start another profile so more people can add me if they want.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Drew.
Bye,
Appreciate you
Drew.
being here.
Appreciate you being here.
Guys, I can tell you over
Appreciate y'all having me
course
on.
of the broadcast, I'm going to seem very abrupt, but I'm going to try to make sure that I keep us on task. And so our next guest needs no introduction, but Sarah made one anyway.
Well, our next guest is Lou Skarsky. He thinks I need to know about the centralized banks, and I don't know I would be able to properly defend and tear apart the government without him. He's fun. I've been on his show a couple times, and it's just a great group. If you like irreverent humor, I definitely recommend it. Hi, Lou. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on.
Lou, we can't hear you. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Hi. What's going on? Happy Valentine's Day. I can hear you
I
now.
appreciate it. I'm feeling all the love. And I do appreciate being on the show. Thanks.
I appreciate you agreeing to it. We've had so many great projects and we couldn't fit them all in, but I'm really glad I got you on. So Lou, tell me what your show's about.
Well, I like to think about our show is basically two other guys having a normal conversation and then me interjecting, the problems with the central banks as often as I can. So that's kind of what the show I see as. But no, it's something that's historical. Like basically, they have their own opinions. No, we don't form any kind of cult. We don't have any ideas about what the other person's going to say. We are really just taking a genuine, human approach to what's going on in America specifically, and also geopolitics. So it sometimes ends up being funny, sometimes it ends up being weird, but we love doing it, and it's actually therapeutic for us. I've always been a behind the scenes type of guy. And when this year started unfolding and I got an opportunity to jump on a podcast, I took it and ran, because it's just, I need to get this out to somebody. Sometimes I feel like somebody's listening, and then sometimes I feel like I'm talking into a void, but it doesn't matter. Just the words coming out and formulating just help me treat everybody else nicer.
Lou, I could agree more. What I love about your show is you don't want to think like you necessarily. You just want them to think, especially
Right.
with the centralized banks. Like the way you're able to connect that to so many different topics. But if you think about it, people that control the money control the world. And once we break up the banks, that's exactly what's going to happen. But that's not what all the show's about. So we do have, I think it is two other people. I'd say it's a little bit more right-leaning. Would you say?
I don't know. I come from a Democratic background. I grew up poor in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's strange that the Hispanics and the Blacks just kind of always gravitate towards the Democrats. And this year, not this year, but the last 20 years, as an adult, I've got to analyze this relationship, and it really is one of the most disheartening and disingenuous relationships I've ever seen with an institution and the people. And someone like Thomas Sowell, can come in as a Marxist and then leave as a Black conservative and have more impact, just describing the system. I mean, Malcolm X has described this relationship. Everybody, and we all just tend to go one way or the other. And I think the right probably is the same way as the left. They're being tricked and manipulated. So when someone wants me to describe myself as right or left, I refuse. I just refuse. The libertarian movement is probably the most beautiful movement there is, because it's really based off of liberty and self-governing, and you can't get any more real and true to human form as that. When you get to Democrats and labeling and all, and it just gets too muddled, communism. So none of that matters.
That is perfectly put, Lou. Let me ask you this. How are people going to find you? How do they find your YouTube channel?
I can hear him.
I can't hear him.
So I'm going to keep talking. Can you hear Sarah? Yeah. Well,
translate what he's saying.
But it's good. So Lou, go ahead and let us know how people can find you.
Yeah. So I have several different places. Facebook is, I'm pretty much shadow banned, but if you want to join my weird conversation, the best place is definitely Twitter. and you just go at Lou Starsky.
All right.
Just as the name is spelled there. And then if you want to go to Facebook, we have Radio Yerevan. We have the Armenian Council for Truth and Journalism, which is the name of the podcast. And you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, under those same names. And if you are interested, just hit me up and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks so much. Princess, can you hear me now, Your Majesty? No.
He's asking if you can hear him.
I can't hear you at all.
Oh my! It's the weirdest
I can
thing.
hear Lou. I can't hear you.
Lou can hear me, and you can't hear me. That is.
I can hear. Yeah, and I can hear both of y'all.
That is weird. All right. Well, we're going to figure it out. Lou, thanks so much for coming here.
Is he telling a story?
Appreciate your time, and I'm going to keep us on track with our next group. We have Kirby coming up next. Kirby isn't quite ready, but we got Scott here. And Scott, can you do this without Kirby? You want us to fill for a little bit?
Hi.
Can you hear me, Scott?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Sarah, can you hear us? I don't think Sarah can hear us. So she's going to be right back. Tell me a little bit about your group. Now, the thing is, Sarah has an introduction that's written for you. Let me find it. She says, you guys are smart, take no shit 2A advocates. I mean, that's kind of redundant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a Second Amendment advocate. Of course, you're smart because you understand the basic idea that there is no First Amendment without the Second Amendment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is not. What we are Indie Gun Church, which is, if I'm not sure if you're aware of a group called Gun Church in New Hampshire. It's ran by someone named Silver Dave,
Yep.
A friend of the show of Free Talk Live. So Indie Gun Church was inspired by Gun Church in New Hampshire. We are a non-denominational Liberty Church affiliated with the Church of the Invisible Hand, which is a non-denominational Liberty Church based out of Keene, New Hampshire. So that's an introduction to what Gun Church is. And what it is free combat training for free people.
That's awesome. And are you guys based in New Hampshire?
We're actually based out of Indiana. We just have a lot of links to New Hampshire.
Awesome. Indiana, you guys had an amazing libertarian candidate for governor last cycle.
Yes, we did. Donald Rainwater. He was iffy on a few things. I actually got to interview him for about 20 minutes. And like his stance on qualified immunity is kind of sketchy. But,
Yep.
you know,
I mean, that's the thing about it. And that's one of the things about People for Liberty is that we recognize that none of us are perfect libertarians, except, of course, for Princess Rivulet.
Princess Rivulet. That's how you become a monarch, actually.
Exactly right.
Once you I'm the only real libertarian, and that's why I'm a monarch, because I can govern myself. Okay, so it's not ironic that I'm here. It's I'm a government.
Kirby and I are popes of the Church of the Invisible Hand.
Oh, and that gives you infallibility, right? By
Yeah.
definition, the Pope is infallible.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
one
We
of
are
my,
the true libertarians.
one of my favorite memes is actually a Far Side cartoon where the Pope goes on Jeopardy. And of course, because he's infallible, every answer he gives is correct.
Yes. Yes. We are popes of the Indie Gun Church. And it's a fun little joke, but I love it.
Okay, so when you say gun church, I know Kirby's talked about like hand-to-hand combat self-defense, but do you also teach like gun safety and courses and like certifications and stuff like that?
Okay, so screw certifications. I'm an anarchist.
My guy, what the fuck's a registration? My guy, I love it.
I don't even know what that is. No, but I was once a murderer for the U.S. military, and they taught me how to shoot guns very well. So I'm giving the knowledge I gained from the United States Murder Corps to the people, and I'm doing it for free.
I love that. One, that shows that volunteerism work, and that's like one of our pure principles of the party, that volunteerism is how we get shit done, and you're a living example of that. But also, I think it's so important that if you're gonna have a gun, but be safe with it, because there's too many people
Absolutely.
like that's all it is. It's like, would you run and stab yourself with scissors? No, but people do that. And so we don't ban scissors. We teach them how to like properly handle these tools.
Absolutely. The first few sessions that we're going to do is just going to be, these are weapons. This is how you take it apart. This is how you clean it. These are the areas you need to look. This is how you load a magazine. We're going to teach them about fundamentals of marksmanship, bone pressure, how to hold it stable, hand and arm placement, front sight alignment, front sight picture, all that stuff before we ever go hot on a range. Because I want to make sure the people I'm with, don't hurt themselves.
Or accidentally hurt somebody else. I mean, that's the worst thing that happens.
Absolutely.
I will decline to answer if I have any gun registrations. However, I own a bunch of guns. The critical
Is that
thing
public
about
record? Somebody check.
The very first thing, well, the state of Maryland, unfortunately, has a collection of knowing what I'm allowed to do legally. However, trigger discipline is one of those things that does not come naturally to people because they've watched a million Hollywood movies.
Oh, yeah.
Training fixes that so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand how much safer they can be just 10 minutes spent with an expert. Can you tell us more about Gun Church? How do we find Gun Church?
Okay, right now we are on freedom cells. We tend to avoid the large groups like Fascist Book and stuff like that. So we we are on freedomcells.org, and then you make an account there and you search us, and we have just search Indie Gun Church, INDY Gun Church, and you'll be able to find that. And then in that is a link to our Telegram. And if you don't want to make it Freedom Cells, it's just t.me/Indie Gun Church, all one word.
All right. That is awesome. We're going to be for people who are wondering, we're going to be putting out an update after we finish this, all the speakers, all their links, everything else. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for keeping us on task, Kirby. We really appreciate it. And awesome. So we are scheduled to come up to a break here. Let me get that out. How do you think we're doing so far, Princess?
I'm having a blast. I love all these projects that we have coming up. Like, I've interacted with all these people, and like, I really appreciate what they're doing. They have such a great impact, and it reminds me why I wake up every day trying to like get this message out for all the people that are doing so much more than I am. So I'm just so happy that we're able to shine a little light on them.
That's awesome. And this is also one of those things that there are a lot of different places for a lot of different people in the liberty movement. Your jam might not be gun rights, and that's okay. Your jam might not be, any of the topics that we cover, but that's why we're doing this speed dating thing. It's 5 minutes. Find the thing in liberty that rings your bell. Get involved in that because everybody needs you. Okay. Dr. King put it best, a battle for justice anywhere is a battle for justice everywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like, a lot of these projects are local. If you like what they're doing, start your own. If you think you could do it better, start your own. Like, that's why I love Valentine's Day, because it's capitalism, Dan. Like, get out there, buy chocolates, buy teddy bears, spend money. No one's buying anything with this fucking virus going around. And that's why we need Valentine's Day. And that's why we need marketing for projects.
And so you raise an excellent point, right? Because Valentine's Day is actually a capitalist holiday. Right?
That's why I love it. That's why I love it. As a capitalist, you can't hate Valentine's Day because it's just businesses ploying with people's emotions to make money. Capitalism.
That's awesome. So we're coming to the end of our break. That was really fast, right?
Oh my God. It's not enough time.
Coming up, we have Casey Daly, then AJ Campbell, and then Rachel Bergen. So I'm hoping it's Bergen and not Bergen, but we're going to find out because we're going to get everybody on the air. So let's go to my good friend and yours, Casey. What's going down?
Hi, Casey.
I have to take myself off mute. Hi, guys.
How are you? Casey, I'm so glad that you got to be on. You were behind the Peaceful Warrior Day. You are such a kind-hearted helpful individual, and like I love everything that you do surrounding like the peaceful approach to things. I think a lot of people are fed up with like the circumstances they find themselves in, but you have such a way to like reassure people and keep them on track with the liberty message. And I just want to say, like, I really appreciate you. I'm cutting into your time. What are you up to?
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, we're going to continue Peaceful Warrior Day. We actually just decided this last week that we're going to make it a quarterly event, and so like seasonal, right? So we want to do regular presenters, different types of presenters each quarter. Last time we had all of the major religions represented, and then lots of different variety. We had piano meditation, some of the major speakers talking about different peaceful ways of approach. And so we're going to keep that kind of vibe where we have lots of different types of people, but discussing around, talking about, a particular topic. It might be like your inner critic, or your, ways to go into the community and make impacts with volunteerism and stuff, things like that. So each quarter we'll do that. And then we're also going to work with some of the regulars who did some meditations and prayer. We had piano meditation, we had prayer, we had mantras and tantric meditation, that kind of thing. We're going to do that probably weekly until we get the kind of the hang of it. We might move up to daily, but that's going to be more of like a regular kind of in the morning, quick, kind of get your mind straight, prepare for the day sort of thing. And then quarterly we'll have our big event, and it'll be 8 hours instead of 12. We kind of jam-packed it last time, so we'll make it a little shorter this time. But try to do different people each time. So
I love it. I did the same thing for this event, jam-packed it, but the first one has to be big. The first one has to be all-encompassing. It has to be. So I get what you're going for. I love that. I absolutely love that. And like, if you know me, I don't do peaceful anything very well. I'm very high strung. So I think having a space that I can like decompress from all the bullshit of the world would be so helpful within like the liberty movement. Cause I know I'm not the only one that feels like their nihilism creeping back in every time Biden says something. But
yeah.
Oh my God, that man will be the death of me. I have gray hairs already. He's been in office for like 2 seconds. I have gray hairs. I've gained weight. My skin is sagging. He's not what America needs. He's not what America needs. It's all Biden's fault. Thanks, Biden. Thanks, Biden. But Casey, what do you love about the liberty movement?
Oh, it's just, the freedom of it, where we have so many diverse types of people here, and
absolutely,
welcoming of pretty much, as long as you're not harming people, then we pretty much accept your point of view. So there's a lot of really strange birds, but also a lot of really kind of boring, straight up boring people, and I feel like I'm in the middle of all that too, like I can understand both sides. But I love all the extreme people. We have our extremers, and we have our, in the middle. I love them all. They're so cool. And I think the cool thing that ties us all together is just freedom. We all want more freedom and more, just this world is broken and it's never going to get really fixed. That's kind of the problem of the earth, right? We have to grow. In order to grow, we have to have conflict. We have to have something that grows us as a person. And so the world's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be, never
going to be perfect, but we're doing our best to make it better. Every day.
That's part of growth is like, we have to keep fighting. We have to keep trying so that we can personally grow as people, but we're always going to have new things coming at us, so.
Tell us more about how people find you on the internet to get more involved, Casey.
Just find me on Facebook, or you can go to my website, caseydaily.com. I'm on Discord too. I don't really do all the TikTok and things like that, so just find me on Facebook.
All right. Well, Casey Daly, thank you so much. Peaceful Warrior Day. We appreciate your time on Liberty Speed Dating, Married to the Movement.
Bye, Casey.
Princess,
So
who do we have up next?
next we had AJ, but looks like she's having connection issues because she's on the road in Tennessee helping people campaign. And that's what I love about AJ so much. She's such a character. She's the exact type of person you want on your team. She is my sister in Liberty for life. Such an infectious spirit. So she's able to get on later. Like, I hope that she's going to do that because she's such
All
a great
right.
project.
Well, we can definitely do that. I tell you what, why don't we play a quick ad for every politician ever. And yeah, exactly. And then I think, well, let me get it going. I queued it up wrong. You'd think I was better at this after all these times that I've done it, but
he's a
here we
professional,
go.
ladies and gentlemen. Don't
I
worry.
am.
This election, your choice couldn't be more important. Our candidate is in flattering lighting, full bright color. Their candidate is in grainy high contrast black and white, spotted through a telephoto lens from behind a bush, coming back from God only knows where. Our guy points at the horizon and holds a baby. Their guy doesn't have a baby. Their guy has a golf club. The voiceover for our guy. Their guy gets the lower register. And sometimes we slow down. Our guy has clean headlines and the beautiful lens flare America needs. Here's a scary grab for a photo of their guy awkwardly laughing. Snap zoom. You want a snap zoom like that in office? Here's a photo of our guy saluting military veterans. Jump cuts, flashes, static, aggressive colors. You can't trust a guy with graphics like this. Our guy gets stock footage of sunrises and an American flag. Their guy's flag is upside down and on fire. Intercut with overdue bills, war, and a crying baby. Our guy gets doctors and astronauts and stimulus checks. Flatline, an eagle, hurricane, the Statue of Liberty. Crime scene tape, Ronald Reagan. The girl running in a wheat field to escape a dangerous sexual predator. Building atomic bomb. This election, the choice is yours. Their guy or our guy. Inspiring slogan.
All right. And thank you to Reason TV for that political ad, for every political ad ever. And it feels like that. I mean, anybody who did anything, watched any television, if you watched YouTube and you don't have a subscription with that doesn't have ads, incidentally, let me just put a push for that. I got the YouTube premium, totally worth it. No ads ever on YouTube. It's the best. I can't hear you now, Sarah.
My fault. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Or you could get like an ad block and there's no ads ever. So
that's not a bad thing either. So we're coming up. Our next guest is actually here. And so we might jump ahead a little bit. Rachel Bergen. And Rachel, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. She says she's nodding along. Yes, I did. From the Grassroots Academy, which I have to tell you is one of those organizations that has been doing exceptional work for a long time. So
absolutely. I love this. It's such a resource for potential leaders in our community and established leaders who want to just like gain a little confidence in how to interact with people. And if you have like a great project that you don't know how to start or how to get people on board, like I definitely recommend checking them out and they can get you pointed in the right direction with the correct resources. Rachel, thanks so much for being on today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm so excited to be able to be here for this wonderful event. And I just want to make one little correction. It's the Grassroots Leadership Academy. So
I am so sorry. I'm terrible at typing. I'll fix it in just a second.
If you want to go online and find us, you just go to grassrootsleadershipacademy.org and you will be able to find us there.
Awesome. Thank you for that correction. So what is the mission of the Grassroots Leadership Academy?
Yes, so exactly everything you mentioned at the very beginning. We work to empower individuals who want to see change made in their community. We empower them with the knowledge and the skills to go out there and mobilize and organize their community to make an impact. So we have everything from how to impact your elected officials effectively to some tools on social media activism and how to engage in that digital space. We also have a certification process, which is obviously not not mandatory by any means, but it is a 3-part series where we really teach people the basics of how to get involved in activism, how to then mobilize other people, and then how to really truly be a leader within their community to create the change that they're looking for.
Do you have like a specific person that you look for that would be most beneficial in reaching out to you? Like, is there a target demographic?
We have had we've now been working for the past 6 years, honestly, on this project, and we've trained thousands of people across the country, and they range from people who are brand new, have never been involved before, to people who have been veterans within the movement of organizing and liberty. And really, it just depends on the individual. I heard a story recently of a woman who came to one of our trainings, and she had never been involved very much before. She was brand new. She left so inspired by our training that she decided to run for office, and she is now a sitting state representative in her state. And so we just have all kinds of individuals that come, and it's exciting to be able to be a part of it.
That's awesome. I didn't know you guys did politicians too. I thought it was just like
Well, we don't necessarily, that's not our target. We don't really train individuals specific on that, but we do give people the skills needed to go out into their communities and make a difference. And what they do with that, it kind of comes down to them. But we do teach them how to effectively get their message out, craft their message effectively. We do have some speaking and storytelling trainings that we do. And so people will leave our trainings and go out and engage on all kinds of different issues.
Yeah. And that, for me, that's one of the magics of it's why it's called grassroots. You don't know exactly what grass is going to grow, but you got to plant it. And Grassroots Leadership Academy is doing a great job of making sure that the soil is fertile, getting the water in there, growing the people. The people then become, who knows what grows out of the grass. Beautiful flowers sometimes.
Exactly right. And I was able to be elected to the legislature back in 2008. I served in the Florida House of Representatives, and I was one of the youngest members ever elected to the legislature at that time. And I learned firsthand the power of individuals coming and engaging their elected officials. And I know the power of one and the power that one individual can make. And so that's why I get up and go to work every day to try to empower individuals to help them go and effectively communicate with those lawmakers so that they can make a difference.
Absolutely. I think that's so important, especially with the power of one. I think so many of us have really great ideas, but we think it's just one individual, like what impact can I make? And I encourage everyone to check out your program if they feel that way, because your idea could start out as something else. And then you go through this program, you turn into a state legislator. That's so important. We're all in this journey within the Liberty movement. And like that, being able to find ourselves and find where we can have the best impact is so important. Before I let you go, Rachel, what do you love most about the Liberty movement?
I think that, again, as a former lawmaker and someone who sat there and watched really bad policies happen, I love the fact that individuals are passionate and equipping themselves to go out and actually make a difference and engage. And I just can't say enough about the fact that if we don't do it, then bad things are going to continue to happen to us. And it can happen at the local level, it can happen at the state level, and it can happen at the federal level too. But I'm extremely passionate about that local level, because on a daily basis, folks in that local level are taking away the rights and freedoms of folks like you and I.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Quick plug of the website again, Rachel.
Yes, it's the grassrootsleadershipacademy.org, and you can find us on Twitter and Facebook as well. But you can go to the website and put your information in, and we'll be in touch with you.
That's awesome. One of those great things. Thanks so much for showing up for Libertarian Speed Dating Married to the Movement. Appreciate it, Rachel.
Thank you.
Hi, Rachel.
All you do.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Great organization. But honestly, we've had nothing but great organization so far. We're making an exception, though, with the next guy, right? Not just a great organization, but a great organizer.
A man of many talents. Can we just say, wow, not only does he have an incredible ability to connect people on all different sides of the spectrum in the political movement and the country in general, but he's also a musical artist and has come here to spit of his research recently released mix. Spike, I'm so excited to have you on, and I look forward to this musical journey we're about to go on. Spike, so spit a verse. Go ahead.
So this is the exact kind of gotcha journalism that I would expect to experience from a mainstream media outlet such as People for Liberty. I've said many times this mixtape exists. You're never going to find. By the way, I didn't rap in the mixtape. I just want to make that clear. That I was not. It's not my like. It's I. What an introduction. I'm not going to rap now.
I don't think it exists. I don't think your mixtape exists. And if it does, it's buried somewhere in your like old MySpace profile. And it was probably like your theme music on your page. So did anyone check MySpace yet is the real question, and why you're on. Somebody check MySpace. Somebody check SoundCloud. Was SoundCloud around when that happened?
No, but there is is that not? Oh, gosh.
So the cover photo is a dog. Okay, so that's a new hint. The cover
That's
photo
a new
is a
hint,
dog.
but it's hold on a second. I can show so you can actually see this. This is a real thing that I did not make up. That is like there is an actual mixtape.
He has on his phone. Okay, the song is called Jigga? Wait, what?
No, there's one of many songs on it. It's like 2.5 hours of stuff. Like this is real. This is a real thing. And you're it's out there. You're not gonna find it. I've tried to tell people this, and I'm not sure what else. There's tremendous pressure on me now to drop it, to release the mixtape, and I'm now considering dropping it one track at a time. Once certain metrics have been met. So maybe using it to raise some money for a charity to drop one track, using it to help someone who's fallen on hard times with another one, kind of, like a drip, drip, drip type of thing. Get some stuff out of people for it. Instead of
Liberty
just
Drip campaign. That's what I love to hear about.
All right, Spike, do you have a message for the people before we let you go?
I do. I going around the country last year campaigning for vice president. One of the things that struck me was something that we often forget when we're arguing with each other on social media, which is that there's far more that unifies us in the liberty movement than divides us. I saw people who were in fact, people that weren't even libertarians, people that were libertarians, people that were Republican, Democrat, people that didn't know what they thought politically, that would come together to hear a message of liberty and would often leave as friends and colleagues and associates. I saw people who were already in the libertarian movement, who were from different factions of the liberty movement, who were from different caucuses, who were from, different ends of the spectrum politically of the liberty movement, who would come together to help put these events together, and who were working hand in hand and were working as friends and allies and compatriots. And at all of the events I did, over 35, I visited 35 states, I think 75 campaign stops, tens of thousands of people coming out to them combined. I never once saw more than a gentle disagreement between people. And I think it's important for us to remember that we are all in this for the same selfless reasons. We are in this to see a world set free in our times. And as tempting as it can be to fall into arguments with each other, as tempting as it can be to fall into disagreements with each other, I think it's important for us to remember that we are bound by a love for the individual person being able to be set free and being able to thrive and prosper in ways that we often aren't allowed to now. And so my message to you on this Valentine's Day, I have two messages. Number one, you're never going to find my mixtape. Okay. And then number two, this is about love. Let's focus on that love, and let's continue to work together to get the freedom that we want to see in our times.
I love the phrase gentle disagreement. We could say that over and over and over again, because in many ways, that's what love is finding a way to disagree gently with the people in your life.
Yeah.
And remember, we attack our ideas. We don't attack each other, because it's just because you think differently doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make that you're evil or a Nazi or Hitler or anything like that. So if we need to be able to reach people with their ideas, and we don't do that calling each other names or fighting over the internet. We have bigger problems. And I really appreciate you saying that, Spike.
Oh,
Thanks so
absolutely.
much.
Listen,
Go ahead, Spike.
when I came into this movement, I didn't think everything I think now. I thought a lot of things that were not very pro liberty. Coming in and being welcomed in and being told why I was wrong in a way that wasn't, alienating was what allowed me to become my final form Super Saiyan libertarian that I am now.
And you're probably not in your final form now, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I had a major revelation 2 days ago on the
What
air.
was it?
People who are watching about the fact that the right to healthcare. Well, I'd always said, you don't have a right to healthcare because your healthcare is provided by a healthcare provider, and you don't have a right
Right.
to somebody else's labor. I always agreed with that. Dan Berman corrected me, and he said, no, you have a right to seek the healthcare that you want. You do have a right to healthcare.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody has
Yep.
an obligation to provide it for you. But if you think cannabis is the way you want to get your healthcare, you have a
You
right
have a
to
right
seek it
to
that
seek
way.
that.
Exactly.
You have a right to access healthcare. You
I
don't have
got
a right to
better a
receive
day
a
later.
But
service.
see, I already
We
knew
can't go
that
too
because
deep
I'm in my
because this
final
is-
form.
I
can't
knew
go-
that, and I've been here 7 months, so get on, hop
That's
on board.
awesome.
Okay, it's a race.
Spike,
It's a
thanks so
race.
much. People want to find out more about you. How do they do that?
If you look for Spike Cohen on the internet, it's pretty easy at this point. On Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, if you type in Spike Cohen, and if you look for my mixtape, you're gonna waste hours of your life and not find it.
Find
All
his
right, that is a
MySpace page,
good-
guys. Find his MySpace.
It's not-
It's on there.
That is a
Vince.
good final lesson. We are going through Liberty speed dating. I am keeping us on track. Thank you so much, Spike. Who is next?
We have a very fantastic writer, and I love her work so much. Her assessments on different events have always been super fair. If you check out her website, she has great articles that engage you from the very beginning, and that's really rare when you're writing about things everyone's are talking about. But I always am able to find something interesting and new perspective from her articles. I'm excited to introduce you to Angela McArdle. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I also have to throw in that Angela is the chair of the Libertarian Party of Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
Huge, huge, huge county party.
It is. It's a beast, but it's delightful, and I've had a lot of fun taming it.
I'm surprised that because it is but you're in California, and that is I'm from California, so I can talk shit. They're not doing too hot as far as liberty and personal freedoms go.
No,
So
it's rough.
what's your approach in taming Los Angeles in particular?
Okay, so I chair LA County, and I inherited sort of a messy county. So I've had to really work really hard to get that in order, Jordan Peterson style, clean up your room kind of thing. And when all of this happened, it was sort of like an imploding ego death that a lot of us had, thinking oh, we thought that we were the freest country in the world. Obviously, that's not the case. You could just clearly look, and read even on mainstream news articles to see that we are way down on the index of freedom. So setting that aside, I was able to go out and form issue coalitions with other groups and people who are not libertarians, but care very much about their freedoms. And it's been incredibly eye-opening to see who that is. And I think that it's also been really fulfilling. So it's it's West Side young Republicans, but then it's also undocumented immigrants who aren't getting unemployment. And watching people work together has been an incredibly empowering experience, in spite of the fact that it's been, really depressing to see people's lives destroyed by these lockdowns and, depression and people going out of business and losing their life dreams and their life savings. We have managed to make some good stuff happen in spite of all of the bad.
And that's why you being where you are is so important, because there are so many people affected by circumstance who are left rather helpless. And when we have even just someone that can empathize and sympathize with what we're going through and put together a pathway where we can, even if it doesn't work, we have something to believe in, something to hope for. You are doing the Lord's work, especially in Los Angeles. I would give up on them, but I'm proud of you for maintaining it. Let me ask you, I've been asking everyone, what do you love most about the Liberty movement?
What do I love most about the Liberty movement right now or in general?
Both.
Both. Okay. In general, I just love that we're all mostly fighting for the same thing and that we have mostly identified a common enemy. And so maybe it's not always in the best vibes to rally around fighting a common enemy, but I think sometimes it is, and it's pretty fun. And we all hate the government, and I really love that. But in general, I guess that's in general. Right now, though, I am really in love with the California Mises Caucus media team, because we've been capturing the stories of people who've been harmed by the lockdowns.
Yeah.
And even though the lockdowns have caused a lot of heartache, they have inspired an outpouring of love from this group of people who've come together to help small business owners and help each other out and lift people up. So I'm glad that the California Mises Caucus media crew and the LA County Libertarian Party have come together, and we're becoming a part of history. And it's just been a wonderful opportunity, and it makes me really happy. I really do love these groups of people.
That is an awesome love letter statement to Angela. I am, of course, the timekeeper, and so we're running up on time. Quick thing, Angela, how do people find you? They want to find out more about you and what you're doing.
You can find me at angelamcardle.com. And if you're interested in joining the LA County or California Libertarian parties and seeing what kind of activism I've been up to there, you can visit lplac.us.
And you guys, California has a convention coming up, right? 2 or 3 months?
May 14th through 16th in Visalia, California. They have allowed us to have an in-person convention, and you can visit there. It's a couple hours north of LA.
That's awesome. I've been to, I think, the last 3 California conventions. People, it's worth going. They put on an amazing show. Thank you so much, Angela.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Who is up next, Princess?
Next, we have an absolute problem solver. I'm such a big fan of his humor, and then also his ability to connect and engage with people. He is running his campaign, turning the map gold, which is exactly what we need. More libertarians or liberty-minded people in positions of power so that we can steer this ship in the right direction, because we're heading off a cliff. So I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Brandon McCray. Brandon?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, it's Valentine's Day. We're spreading the love. I'm super excited to hear from everybody. How are you?
I cannot complain, other than the fact that I did not know that Spike and Angela were going to be on here. So imposter syndrome is set again pretty quickly, but we're going to have fun with this.
Hey, you know what? Everyone's doing their thing for the Liberty movement.
Yeah.
And without you, it wouldn't happen, because we need everyone rowing our boats in the same direction. So don't even worry about it. Spike didn't even tell us where his mixtape was, so that was kind of a letdown.
Listen, we're libertarians. We'll find it pretty quickly.
We will find it. I'm gonna play it at my Christmas party.
There you
Just
go.
you wait.
There you go.
So, Brandon, what are you running for?
So it's going to be for District 6 for Pickens County in South Carolina. Now, unfortunately, I did not decide to run until it was too late for 2020. So I'm probably one of the furthest out candidates right now. I'm actually planning a run for 2024. So it's been pretty interesting. I'd like to see where the current councilman takes us in our district. But again, I don't really have much hope because of what I've seen. And I have a small 1-minute speech that I've been working on for the past 2 days. That'll explain all of it, and it actually kind of ties into everything that you guys have been talking about with it as well. But I just haven't seen much, I guess, progress in the way of making sure that people are taken care of in my county. And I've grown up here, moved away for a little while, and I actually lived in Lawrence County. Wasn't going to mention them, but I think I have to. Highest taxes in the area, and the corruption is just absolutely astronomical, along with the spending, the uncontrolled spending at that. So it's pretty much where it stands at the moment.
Well, let me ask you, what will your campaign do for your county that will leave the world better than when you found it?
So my campaign is based all around making sure that my councilmanship does not affect anybody in the county in a negative way. I look to be a zero impact government as far as taking any type of taxes. I don't want to raise anything. If I could, I'm going to try to take as many taxes away as possible. My number one goal is just to make sure that people can live their lives, and that they don't feel like Pickens County law enforcement, Pickens County rules and regulations are holding them from being able to live their life. I want to be able to work on trying to get small businesses and even larger businesses to come here without spending the people's money.
That's awesome. Well, tell us how people can find you. They want to get in touch with your campaign.
So you can look at MB McCright for Pickens County Council on Facebook. You can go to egg.com/McCrightMB, which is where I'm planning on doing a lot of updating as the years progress. I do have a long way out, so things aren't going to move too quickly at the moment. But that's usually where I'll be able to tell everything that's going on and what the plans are for the campaign.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And of course, in Liberty Speed Dating, we're cruising through the candidates. Thank you, Brandon.
Bye, Brandon.
And next up, who do we have?
Next, I'm very excited to introduce you guys to the person running for Louisiana 2nd District. What I admire about her campaign is her ability to look past the politics and things and bridge the gaps in between the Democrats and Republicans fighting, and be able to foster real-world solutions that can look past all the fighting that we've been doing. So I'm excited to introduce you to Mindy McConnell. Hi, how are you?
We can't hear you right now, Mindy.
Yeah, we can.
Might be physical mute on your thing because it looks like you're unmuted here. And I will tell you that this is a common thing. So we're going to get you going.
You should take a drink every time somebody is on mute. And like, if you do it for me, no, it has to be liquor. So we're absolutely inebriated by the end of this. Take a shot of good vodka.
The problem with it is that there is a button that if I press, it ends the live stream. And so I don't want to do that.
Okay. Dan can't drink, but the rest of us sure can. I bought a box of wine right next to me.
Yep. You might try, Mindy. I'm going to suggest, well, we can come back to you. Okay.
We can definitely come back to you.
We can do that for sure, because definitely congressional candidate, we're very excited about hearing a lot of the stuff you say. So we will come back to you in a few minutes. Let's see. We could technically jump ahead, or what do you want us to do here? I think we do have we have Alan waiting on the desk, but I don't think Alan is Sean, who is technically next.
Well, Alan is not Sean, and I think the names are like the biggest hint that they're not the same people.
You never know, though, because people sometimes go by other names. Princess.
He got me. He got me, Dad. All right, I'm the dunce. Well, let's see. I guess we can jump ahead and do Alan right now.
All right. Alan's nodding along. It looks like he's ready.
Well, if
what's up, Alan?
Hey, what's up? I don't have very good. What's up, girl? I don't have good vodka, but I do have very good whiskey. So I'll take a shot for the both of you.
That's good. All whiskey
love a man that comes prepared. See, like I made up that take a shot thing, and he had liquor ready. That's the kind of love and support I need. Firstly,
well, my house has a bar right there, so it was perfect.
Your house has a bar, and you didn't invite me over. Like, oh my god, glad to know we're friends. Well, Alan, you are my libertarian mayor. I don't care if you didn't win. You're my mayor. I don't care if we're not in the same city either.
There's always next year because I'm on the council. I'm still a counselor, so next year I'll be running for mayor again. So I'll actually have some support as well, more support, I should say. So, so I wanted to talk just for a couple minutes about we have a really hard time when it comes to being libertarians in Maine. We have a unique challenge because we have the oldest state in the nation. The median age Mainer is 46 and a half years old. So I'm 35 and I'm still not even at the average for how old people in Maine are. So essentially I've got to overcome a lot of, boomers and that boomer mentality. And it's not being facetious or anything else. It's just older folks are set in their ways, and they've believed the same thing for decades or even half a century. So how do you chip away at those at what they feel is true. So the Libertarian Party Maine, we've been working on getting some legislation. I wanted to say also, we have the second state level legislator that's a libertarian in the nation here in Maine. He just switched parties on January 2nd. And
that's awesome. Who is that?
John Andrews, Representative John Andrews from the Paris, Maine district. And if you need contact information, I can get you in contact with him because we're friends. So, but I'm a part of the Libertarian Party of Maine. I just actually stepped down as the county chairman because I've got some stuff going on I have to focus on. But I wanted
to totally hear you. But I love Maine. I know the party well. Jim Lyons is a good friend of mine. I was based out of Massachusetts for years.
Chris Lyons or Jim Baines?
Chris Lyons.
Yeah, I saw Chris at my meeting a week and a half ago. So
awesome. Yeah, you guys have a great party up there.
So we're very active, and here in Penobscot County, we're the most active, and I dare say the premier party. I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. We do a lot, but one of the things we're working on is no-knock warrant legislation. So we've gotten some bipartisan support with this. So being able to reach out and have Democrats and Republicans on board with working at us. Maine is like I said, it's a rural state. It's an older state, and people value their law enforcement. And no-knock warrants is kind of an outdated practice, really, if you think about it. I was in the military. I was active duty for 8 years, and I've had a lot of escalation of force training. I know when to pull the trigger. I know how to pull the trigger, but I know what situation is okay and what's not. Law enforcement doesn't have all of that training that the military does. They're not as fortunate. So I think that not only are no-knock warrants really dangerous for obviously the people on the inside who might not be a part of what the warrant is being executed for, it's dangerous for law enforcement. So I think that it's fantastic that we're getting some tripartisan support for this in our Maine House of Representatives. And, a big shout out to the people, Representative or Speaker Ryan Fecto. I'd like to throw in Representative Amy Rader in there, Representative Collmore, and Representative John Andrews, especially for, helping us get this through, and we're going to get it passed on Governor Mills' desk. And I just think it's better all around.
That's awesome. So tell me how people get in touch with you, Alan, how to find out more about it, because this is all about Liberty Speed Dating. People who love your message, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, so even though I've stepped down as the chairman, I'm still doing all of the work. So if please reach out to us, Penobscot County Libertarian Party Facebook page. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, we also have an OnlyFans page.
Wow, outstandingly good marketing. I appreciate that. And the Libertarian Party of Maine, too. That's still
LPME.org.
LPME.org. All right, look at me knowing the address for every state party. I'm so impressed with myself. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Alan. We are going to go back to Mindy. Mindy, how's it going? Can you hear us?
Hi, yes.
We can hear you, too. That's awesome.
I do enough of these where this shouldn't be a problem. So sorry. Yes, so thank you for having me.
You know what? Now we can't hear Princess. Princess, whatever's happened, with your thing, but go ahead and tell me you are running. There it is. You fixed it, Princess. And now she froze. All right.
Tell us about your campaign. Tell us about your campaign.
Yes. So I'm running for the 2nd District, Louisiana U.S. House of Representatives position that was left open by a previous Democrat representative from Louisiana who had held that seat for a few terms. Right now, our campaign is going well. This has become quite a large, we have now 11 people in the race for this position, most of them Democrats. And our campaign has a really viable chance of getting at least into the runoff. Louisiana is a runoff state if one candidate doesn't get 50% of the vote. So it's critical right now that somebody else, somebody from a different party, somebody who's not Republican, somebody who's not Democrat, and somebody honestly who can get into Congress and focus on what the people need and not what a party needs or not what a PAC needs or not what a specific big a union or corporation. It's just time to get back to what each American needs. And at this moment, that is freedom and the right to live freely and make their own choices.
I absolutely go ahead. No, I was gonna say I absolutely love that. Especially in today's politics, it seems like every campaign is what can the government or somebody do for me, and no one's talking about what we can do for each other. So what like 3 issues is your campaign focusing on, especially surrounding like COVID and everything that's like new and nuanced with running?
Yeah, COVID is the number one priority for people. And I've thought long and hard about the issue. It comes up in every single forum or debate that I've been in with the other candidates. And it's a tricky situation because the truth is that a lot of people have been forced out of work. And I've come to realize, although in almost every situation, I'm super against government bailing people out. But if the government is going to say you're not allowed to work, well, then in that case, the government's going to have to come back and say, because we won't let you work, we're going to take care of you in this way. And I think it can be simple and fair. So I've proposed a 1-page, maybe 2-page, because it'll need all the legalese in it, but bill that provides for $1,400 a month for as many months as the government will not allow some businesses to operate. So non-discriminatory, not based on anything else, just everybody will get the same amount until this is over. That is not what, is ideal. It'll definitely create some debt, but there's a lot of areas we can cut spending. I think a pandemic is a unique situation, so we'll have to address it differently. Second big thing for Louisiana is the Biden administration has destroyed our economy in one day. So we have 128,000 jobs that are in energy. Oil and gas is our main stream of revenue. It's one of 3 main streams of revenue for the state of Louisiana. So the restrictions that he's put on oil and gas will cripple our economy in the next year. So that is a big hot button issue. And it's interesting because other candidates who just want to say things that sound good, are all for 100% renewable energy, which is impossible in Louisiana. And they are all for the green movement, but it's just lip service because for our state, that will take a long transition to be feasible. And we can't do that just in one fell swoop.
I love that. I love that you're running to win. And I appreciate, especially in the libertarian movement, where we run to get our name out, but that can only help so much. And like you have real make sense issues, especially surrounding COVID. No, that's not ideal, but neither is COVID and neither is a pandemic and neither is losing your job. So like that's where volunteerism comes in and like helping your community. And sure, it create debts, but we do that for the betterment and getting past these things. So as a libertarian, I don't believe in government intervention ever. I don't think they should have shut down all, but that's what they did. And I appreciate your willingness to not bend compromise.
Right. And so if people want to find out more about your campaign, so there's a question that came in over chat. No relation to the Republican leader of the Senate, right?
No, not
Okay.
at all. No,
Fair
no.
enough. Just want to make sure. How do people find out more about you and your campaign?
You can visit mindymcconnell.org. Our Facebook page is Mindy McConnell for Congress on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being involved in libertarian speed dating. I look forward to hearing a lot more about your campaign, Mindy.
Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
All
I
right.
love seeing people run.
I do too. It makes the biggest difference in the world. Who is next in libertarian speed dating? Married to the movement.
I think it's Sean Babcock, and I'm really excited to introduce you guys to him surrounding his podcast, Newfound Liberty, where he explores the philosophical ideas surrounding liberty and not necessarily policies, but more so how we get to living our life in a more libertarian way. Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I get to talk to all my friends all day. Like, you can't beat that, Sean. How's your Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Do you have any plans?
Unfortunately, me and my wife are going to have to work for Valentine's Day, but I got something planned for whenever we get off that should be a pretty good surprise. So long as she doesn't watch this, of course, man, she'll be really surprised.
You know what? I love that because Valentine's Day is about capitalism. And not only are you making money, you're spending money. And that's what we need to boost this economy, Sean. But
Yep.
I've been on your podcast. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's an important conversation to be having. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your project and how you started that?
Yeah, actually, I came up with the idea several months ago. So I got really big into libertarianism a little about a year ago, and I got real close with the Jorgensen campaign, and I just noticed that there was a lot of people who get introduced to the Liberty movement and to get on board with libertarians, especially whenever the two major parties put out such terrible candidates, right? So I've talked with people who had voted libertarian before, but I mean, with the 2020 election, they were going back and voting for the famous lesser of two evils, and I was just wondering as to why you would. I mean, for me, there's just no way I can go back to voting for my old party. There's just no way. Once I kind of opened my eyes up and then brought libertarianism and started learning about it, I couldn't go back. But I see that there's many people that have gone back, and I just kind of wanted to keep the momentum of making sure that people stick with their principles and vote for candidates that they actually believe in, instead of just putting a vote for somebody because they're worried about somebody else, taking the office. So Newfound Liberty is just the exploration of liberty, what it can do for you. Different types of libertarianism exist across the spectrum. We just want to cover and explore everything, so that way, no matter where you come from or what kind of different aspects you believe in, as far as like a political ideology, just or how you feel economically, but we'll cover something guaranteed for you. But we just want to keep you excited and keep you a part of the liberty movement. I mean, as long as your goal is always for more freedom for everybody else and less authoritarian and policies, then the liberty movement is for you, and we encourage you to stick with us. So Newfound Liberty will be doing that. Currently, it's a very new podcast that I'm doing right now, but I encourage people to join our Facebook group, which is where I'm putting it on first before I start broadcasting a little bit more larger on other podcasting platforms. It's www.facebook.com/groups/Newfound Liberty. We do ask that when you join, just keep in mind that, I mean, we know that we all come from a lot of different backgrounds, but keep it civil. We're all here to learn, and people don't exactly let go of the things that they used to believe in and how they used to think beforehand, and we all have to get there somehow. So I ask no mudslinging and no name calling, but I welcome everybody there, and I hope you all get involved. I'd be glad to have just about anybody on the podcast, so long as it's for exploring liberty.
That is a awesome thing, and the rules are pretty reasonable.
Very reasonable.
I love it. I not only have I been on his show, I've been watching it, and like the way he approaches topics is so down to earth, and it's non-judgmental. It's really for the point of understanding. So if you're new to the movement, I suggest you go on this journey with Sean. It's a really good experience. I couldn't recommend it enough.
That is awesome. Sean, thank you so much for being on Liberty Speed Dating, Married to the Movement. I look forward to finding you at facebook.com/group/Newfound Liberty.
Excellent.
And who do we have up next, Princess?
We have a rare treat because this person has been with me since the beginning. He's been a real voice of reason on my movement and my journey through the movement of liberty. I can always find a fair assessment of a point, and he's able to listen to people's perspectives and give her argument and still validate them without making them feel stupid. A real champion for human rights, not just like the issues that him, but the issues that don't, and I appreciate that about one. This is probably the first time I'll ever see him with a shirt on, though, so I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Fiore Tronte. wait, I can do this. I'm dyslexic. Sorry. Babe, don't laugh. I can do it. Fiore Troncone. Is that right? Did I do it?
Yeah, you're right.
Wow. Whew. Baby, we're moving up in the world. Okay. Hi, how are you?
How about yourself?
I'm hanging out, you know, not doing anything important
Hello?
today. So just, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm on.
We can hear you. I have a little bit of connection.
Can you hear me?
Fiore, tell us about yourself and about your organization. How do people find out more about the important stuff that you're doing in the Liberty Movement? I think we're having a little bit of connection issue, but if Fiore, if you start going, yeah. If you start going, we'll let you. We'll just let you go until you finish.
I'm not hearing anything.
Do you want to?
All right, I'll tell you what.
Here,
Why
I'll
don't we
message
come
him.
back to Fiore? Yeah, you go ahead and tell him that we're going to be coming back to him. And he's going to need a better connection speed because I can sort of see his connection is not doing great. But our next guest is somebody who has been on before. And when you talk about connection speed, we're talking about a person who has made lightning connections throughout the libertarian movement. We're talking about go ahead.
I was just to say, absolutely. We're talking about Miss Ashley Shade. I admire her so much for her patience, but also her willingness to interact with people she knows disagrees with her, but does so in a way for like connection and understanding. And that's what I really appreciate. She is a candidate and an activist, and I'm really excited to hi, Miss Ashley. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
You having a good day? Always.
I'm having a
You're one
great
of my
day
first
so
choices.
far. It's wonderful.
So I saw you were on a podcast yesterday. You did fantastic. I watched it. Congratulations. And I'm really excited about your campaign.
Yes, thank you so much. I was on with LPTV last night, Libertarian Party Television, interviewed with Pat Ford to talk about my city council campaign. I'm really excited to kick off a campaign out here in North Adams, Massachusetts, a small little town, small population, but we have an amazing chance to make some noise and win an election here. I've been planting the seeds for this election for the past 4 years. And so I'm really excited to dig in and start campaigning and start going to work for my community.
I'm really excited. Do you have any projects that you're thinking about right now?
Oh, I have a lot of projects going on. So I'm the chairwoman of Outright Libertarians. Outright Libertarians is the organization, the organization for the gender and sexual minorities in the party, or the LGBTQ community. Our mission is to bridge the gap between the GSM community and the Libertarian Party. And we focus on spotlighting GSM people and GSM issues and ensuring that the GSM community is always heard and that our issues are always part of the party platform. And so that's something that we were founded on. That's something that this party was founded on. And to us, it's very important that the GSM community is well represented within the party. And so I love working with that. If you're interested in joining Outright, we have a Facebook page. Just type in Outright Libertarians. Visit us on Facebook. Our website's currently down. We're undergoing maintenance, but everything that you need is on Facebook. And if you're interested in supporting my campaign for City Council, please visit ashleyshade.com or visit the handle ashade4liberty. And that is my handle on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Love it. Now, Miss Ashley, what do you love about the Liberty movement?
Liberty is the brightest flame of love. And so when you spread the love, when you tell people that you want them to be free, there's no better way to say I love you than to say I believe that you should make all of the decisions in your life as long as you're not hurting anyone else. That is the ultimate form of being able to say I love you, right? To let people live and
Absolutely.
choose how they live their lives. There's no better feeling, there's no better accomplishment in life than to be free. And so Liberty gives us that opportunity to be free human beings, to be able to live our lives how we choose. It's the ultimate gift. And it's the ultimate gift to give anybody this Valentine's Day. So throw a little liberty their way and throw a little love to the world.
That's awesome, and a great way to end up our quick, very quick 5 minutes on Liberty speed dating. Ashley, thank you so much for being on. You want to give those 2 URLs again? How do people find Outright? How do people find you?
Yeah, so you want to find me. My tag is A Shade for Liberty on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also visit my website, ashleyshade.com. If you're looking for Outright Libertarians, please visit us right now on Facebook at Outright Libertarians. Outright USA is our handle. You can find us there, and we'd love for you to join and get involved and come be a part of what we're doing, because it's amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ashley. All right. Liberty speed dating rolls on. We are not that far off pace. We have a special guest coming up.
Again, though. We're going to try Fiore again, though. I think you guys
try Fiore. Okay. How's it going, Fiore? Can you hear us?
Now that I have a better connection, great.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. So we're going to
awesome.
Give you the floor then. We can hear you. Great. So this is the first time I've seen you with a shirt on, if I'm being honest. You run the daily blog, the Daily Mug blog, but then also you have a calendar coming out, and you're a champion for sex workers' rights, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell us about
yeah.
like some of the work you do and the projects you have coming out?
I'll as far as the calendar goes, I'm going to with a member of the New Jersey Libertarian Party to have that taken care of. All the proceeds are going to be donated to the Greg May Governor of New Jersey campaign, as well as the Jersey Libertarian Party. This campaign. I'm also working on my debut album, which I've been working on for about 4 years now, due out this summer. It's called The Divinely. I'm just going to let the title itself there. What else? And I also run my daily page, the Daily Mug. I've done that to reach out to a lot of the gay community to get the message out. There's actually a lot of gay men that I've spoken to who didn't even know who John Prosper was, let alone know that he was the first to ever receive an electoral vote in the states.
I love that. Like, we definitely need voices around that issue. I think a lot of people place their morality on people's freedoms, and they try to dictate them that way. Real work for real people, and if you do anything, you're selling your body. Hey, what's up?
One of my favorite things to say around that is, how can it be illegal to sell something that you can give away for free?
Absolutely.
Accurate.
Hey, Fiore, tell us again how people can get in touch with you and find out more about this movement.
Well, the thing too is you know, when they use hello.
Keep going. Close us out. Tell us how to get in touch
very
with you, how people
vocal
get in touch with you.
Troncone. I also Facebook. I'm cutting.
You're cutting in and out, but
Facebook page, my Instagram, which is at
Facebook page is
I'm sorry, you're
let me tell to everybody who's going to be on the broadcast. So we're putting together a link with at the end of this. So make sure you're following this on the YouTube page and on the Facebook page. And we're going to list all the links for everybody at the end of the broadcast. So we're going to have everybody's links. We're going to put them in their document. So you guys want to find out more about Fiore, more about sex workers advocacy. A lot of people don't know there's a sex workers caucus in the Libertarian Party, organized. They work on those issues. It's one of the, best funded caucuses in the party. And in fact, it's unfortunate we didn't get to have the big convention because they had bought 2 tables there. So excited for that. Thank you so much, Fiore, for everything.
Good, thank you.
Who do we have next, Princess?
The woman that needs
Oh.
no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway. Okay.
A person that I have sung karaoke with.
A person that Dan has sung karaoke with. What more do you need? This
Right. That
woman
limits
is
it
a
down to like
total.
500 people in the party.
You've been singing karaoke with all these people, Dan? Okay, share some love. But
I'm a super spreader.
she is a total badass. Like, ever since I found out about her, I've been absolutely obsessed with the way that she's able to break glass ceilings. She's such a thoughtful individual, and I'm really excited to have her on. Everybody, Kim Ruff, how are you, Kim?
We can't hear you either, Kim. I think what
Yeah,
is
can't hear you.
happening, go down to the little settings.
All right, I got it.
Yeah, you got it. Awesome.
Back in
There
the
we
game.
go.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Do you have any plans?
No, actually, I really don't. So, actually, Valentine's Day is the anniversary of Arizona's statehood. So, I was going to make a big stink about that. And I did get a couple people, including Mercedes, had sent me a meme for "I want you to be mine," or so it dovetails in. So, yeah, that's making bad puns is my plan for Valentine's Day.
Well, I was going to get absolutely wasted, so that's a better plan than I had. I look forward to all your. I'm so excited to have you on. So I'm asking everybody, what do you love most about the Liberty Movement?
Oh goodness. You know, it's funny. I think probably the thing that brings me back always is the fact that some of the greatest people I've ever met who are consistent and committed to being a better person every day, to spreading this message, to getting this information out there, and really trying to stem the tide of tyranny are why I stay. It's the friendships and the relationships that I've made. That's really what keeps me in it. I have been very, very blessed to meet some truly exceptional people and be in this fight with them. So that's probably the very, very best part.
I love that so much because like I fell in love with the people too. Before I even knew what you guys were like fighting for, I just loved your energy and tenacity, and whatever it was, where you were going, I wanted to be a part of it. So Kim, do you have a Liberty message for our viewers?
Oh, goodness. Primarily, I would say that, well, with respect to some of the conflict that's currently going on, my Valentine's Day message to people in the Liberty Movement is that we need to be a little bit gentler with one another and recognize that we are all human and that this is a process and an evolution. No single person is going to have all the answers. No single person is going to be right 100% of the time. And there are going to be thoughts or beliefs or actions that we did in our past that are no longer representative of who we are today. You know, I think about how I was in terms of the beliefs that I held when I first joined the Libertarian Party in 2005. And there's been a huge evolution, and it's been because I've been blessed to be surrounded by people who respectfully and kindly walked me through some of these concepts and helped change my mind. So if we're really going to be effective and unify, coalesce towards this effort and endeavor of fighting against the state, we really recognize that the people that are in the trenches next to you are not your enemy and that they are part of this process too. And the only way we're going to get there is by being kinder and gentler and understanding that they're human. So that's probably the biggest thing I would say is, you know, we spend an awful lot of time trying to kneecap each other and hold each other accountable. And in the process, the state continues to grow. And I don't find that to be an effective mechanism. If you truly can't get along with one another, then find another endeavor. There's more than one way to skin this cat.
And skinning cats is one of those things that's always popular in the Libertarian Party. Just kidding.
It's our jam.
It is our jam. Kim, can you tell us a little bit about your campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm running for Arizona State Mine Inspector in 2022, and Arizona is the only state in the union that actually has this as an elected position. It is a statewide executive level partisan position that you get elected to, and it serves a 4-year term up to a maximum of 16 years. What the state mine inspector is responsible for doing, and this was codified in our Constitution in 1912 when we earned statehood, is to basically engage in educational field training to make sure contractors and miners are cognizant of what the regulatory rules are and the safety practices that are both state and federal level, and that they adhere to those. So that's one aspect. Another is that we have to continue to do inspections of active mines, surface mines, as well as underground mines on a recurring schedule, make sure that they're in compliance. Then we have reclamation, which deals with reintroduction of abandoned or closed mine sites into the environment to make sure that it doesn't pose an environmental hazard. And then dealing with abandoned mines themselves, which are on public property and could potentially be a safety issue for people. So the state mine inspector's office handles the mining industry writ large here in Arizona. My position, the reason why I'm running for this office, is that we already had an organization here that deals with all of Arizona mining. The federal government didn't start taking on the enforcement aspect until 65 years after we already had this role. So I find it redundant and unnecessary. And it's just another great example of how the federal government engages in scope creep and says that they have a right or a role to be involved in these industries. They don't. There's no constitutional justification. So I am a bulwark between our industry and individuals and the federal government itself.
That's
Like I said,
awesome.
guys.
In my role as official timekeeper of libertarian speed dating, quickly, what's a good URL for us to find out more about you, Kim?
Well, thank you to Spike for this suggestion, but my website is yournextmineinspector.com. It's connected to all my social media profiles. And yes, I am absolutely putting that out there as my attitude. I will be Arizona's next state mine inspector. I know what I'm doing. I want to do the job, and I will do it right.
That's
Total
awesome. I
badass.
look forward
Like
to us getting together to sing again soon, Kim. Thanks.
Turn
Thanks,
around.
Kim. Every now and then,
Every now and then I get a
tired.
little bit crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, there's
Sorry.
nothing going round.
Suddenly
Turn
everybody
around.
logged
I love
out.
that
We
song.
have no more viewers. I don't
No
know. I'm just
viewers.
kidding.
I might as well just
I'm
cancel.
just kidding. Next person coming up. See, I should never start singing. Next person coming up. Who do we got, Sarah? Princess.
Get it together. Are you like, what's my name? It's written on the bottom, right?
You're Princess, but you were also the person who told me that I had to start drinking more every time we had a muted button. And so there is a correlation.
You
between what is
listen to
happening
me?
now.
What happened to self-governance? Don't take advice from strangers on the internet, Dan.
What you know what's funny? What's funny is, when I saw Kim's thing and it said mine inspector, I'm like, anything that's mine, I'll inspect. You inspect what's yours. I didn't understand that. So now I've gotten cleared up. The alcohol is clearly not a good idea. Hopefully your sobriety is going to be better for whoever our next guest is.
Well, I'm super excited to guest. His name is, Ryan Cathy. If you know me, you know I love to argue, and I have never won an argument against Mr. Ryan Cathy. He's just too good. I've always been able to bring him questions that are maybe annoying or redundant, and he's always been able to answer me in a way that didn't make me feel stupid or like a nuance or anything like that. And he's true to his form of the anarchy dad. Guys, Mr. Ryan Cathy, how are you, Ryan?
I'm wonderful. I'm having a good Saturday. So, yeah.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Do you have any plans for Valentine's Day?
The wife and I will probably hand each other cards and then, go back to parenting because that's what we do.
Oh, the magic of marriage,
Yeah.
like it doesn't feel boring or redundant at all. And just everyone's just having like a little mission. Just, it's not an everyday thing, and I love it.
Yeah,
But
I have a great marriage, so I'm very blessed in that area. So every day is Valentine's Day for us.
I love that. That's not capitalism though, but I love that. Buy more stuff. Well, Ryan, you are one of my favorite memers. You're so smart and funny. You run the page Anarchy Dad. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Anarchy Dad started a couple of years ago with this idea that I wanted to help liberty-minded parents raise kids to be more liberty-minded themselves. And we recorded one episode, and then I went, I'm way too busy for this. I'm a dad. So that went out the window. But I still have the page, and it's kind of a meme page right now. But it's kind of shifted into this idea that because I'm a dad in real life, and I see a lot of things happening in the liberty movement where, honestly, people need a little bit of guidance in terms of how to interact with one another, how to interact with people who are new to the liberty movement, even how to interact with people who don't agree with the liberty movement in a way that is respectful, in a way that attracts more people to the movement. Because there's, we've had a couple guests now who've talked about the fact that we've got a little bit of an issue in our party, where not just in the party but in the movement itself, where Maj Touré talked about this about a year ago, where he said, a lot of people, when they get to the Liberty movement, they're angry, they're really pissed off, because they feel like they've discovered how the world really works, they've discovered how government really works, and they're pissed, and then they never move beyond that place of being angry all the time. And so my view on it is, if we can lower the level of anger, lower the level of just angry rhetoric, and start treating each other with more respect, we'll probably attract more people. Our ideas are superior. That's not a conceited or self-centered thing at all. It's just the way it is. But our behavior, our actions, our attitude towards others sometimes is not the greatest. So, yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Emotional intelligence is something we all lack. And I think a part of it is just being inside and having to deal with each other on the internet. It takes away the humanity in it all. But we're not going to convince anybody of anything calling them mental midgets on the internet, guys. So
Right.
be kind. You're attacking the ideas, not the person. It is us against the issue and not us against each. And I love your page is able to cancel that and focus on the ideas and not necessarily the idiot that came up with them.
And it's such a great message for, we're talking about speed dating, right? If you're speed dating and you come to sit down at somebody's chair, the first thing you're not going to do is list everything that you're angry about.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, listen up to it. Here's the 10 ways that you're wrong. That doesn't
Right.
work.
Right. These are the things that really piss me off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Ryan, how do people find out more? How do they listen to your wisdom?
You can honestly just follow the Anarchy Dad page on Facebook. We do have the anchor.fm/Anarchy Dad, which maybe we'll start podcasting again. I'm sure we'll put a website together. But honestly, the thing that I tell my kids every day, well, at least when they did go to school before all this madness happened this year, every day though, I tell them, and this is the same thing I tell everybody who follows me, everybody in the Liberty movement: 3 things to success in life. Be brave. I don't tell my kids to be careful. I tell them to be brave, be kind, and make good choices. If you can do those 3 things, you're gonna attract a lot of people to you, and you're gonna have a quite successful life. And I wish that more libertarians would take that attitude. So
be brave, be kind, and make good choices. That's an awesome thing to end on. Thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on Liberty Dating. Married to the movement. That was awesome.
Thanks, Ryan.
And love the idea of
Ryan.
the moniker. Yeah, the moniker Anarchy Dad is great because it implies the kindness already. I mean, I was one of the people, and I will occasionally use the word privilege. I had the privilege to have a great dad in my life, and that phrase, that 3-letter phrase, only means kindness to me and knowledge. And so, Anarchy Dad is a great name. Thanks so much. Who do we have next, Princess?
We have a very special guest. He's not a libertarian, but he's still in the Liberty movement. And I've been admiring, he's been someone I've been with my journey. And I've really admired his ability to have a real world solution approach. I think all of us are idealistic in what we want to be able to accomplish in the world. But Mr. Patrick Wynn, great name, by the way. Great name for a campaign. You really lucked out on that one. Patrick Wynn for governor. Hi, Patrick. How are you? Patrick, can you hear me? Am I dead? I'm not dead.
I'm great. And Princess, I appreciate you too. You're one of the first people I came across when I decided to get into politics. Your memeing ability drew me in right away. And I've loved it. I've loved every minute of it. I'm a huge fan of yours. Thanks for inviting me.
Patrick, can you tell us where you are running for office?
Can you all hear me all right?
I can hear you now fine. I'm hoping you can see me. There's a little bit of confusion there, but because we have a little bit of delay, I think it's going to be easiest for us to let you go, and you just go ahead and go and tell us where you're running for governor how people can find out more about you.
Okay, I am running for. Oh, great.
Are we on?
And he'll be on in just a second.
Okay, cool. I got kicked out. It was like.
All right. So I'm running for Texas State Governor, and I'll just answer your questions you had earlier about, you were asking other people what they love about the Liberty Movement. And one of my favorite things is the free marketplace ideas. Okay. I hope y'all can hear me. I love the free marketplace in the Liberty Movement, that everybody comes together. There's a big diversity in the ideas that are being presented. We all have different solutions that are going around. And there is some issues with getting along with each other and crushing each other's ideas, and I hope that gets worked out. And mine are also very different. The solution that I come with that I think is very different is, I think that for my state, for Texas, we need to go back to the drawing board. And the reason I'm running for governor is to do that, constitutional convention. There's a lot of things to accomplish, and I believe that the best path to get there is to put the keys to the future in people's hands, to not actually tell them what the future will be, but make it possible for them to do that. And that constitutional convention hopefully will give us the ability to get recall rights, referendum rights, and hopefully term limits on the governor, the attorney general, and the lieutenant governor. And so those are the big pieces right there. I call that giving people the keys to the kingdom. And I also take a different approach. I'd like to say Ryan before me said a great thing about bringing people together. And that's actually part of my campaign is to go beyond just the Liberty Movement. Right now, we don't have enough diversity from people in our political system. It's polarized, and so one of the pledges I've made is to use the hundreds of appointments that the governor gets to take to bring in every authority, so that hopefully start building this coalition system where no party is dominating what's happening, feels like they have a voice, because that is a lot of the problems right now, is that we all don't have a voice in this. We're being crushed by one side. So the major part about my pain, there's a lot more to it, but that's the core of it. Putting people back in control.
Very quickly. Look, there goes my camera. Internet problems. I think the NSA is on to us, Princess.
They're on to us. They know we're doing something positive for the world, and they're trying to crush us. But such is the government, always trying to stand on the little guy. And that's why I feel fully justified in my campaign to
quickly throw in
them
and
down.
ask Patrick while in case we get delayed again. Patrick, how do people find you on the internet?
My site is wingovernor.com. Just search my name. I have profiles on Reddit, MeWe, Facebook, all the same username on all of them. We've made our lives kind of a reality show where, I see Black Eye. We do a lot of mixed martial arts, and we live feed fighting, and we talk in between the frowns while we're fighting. If you watched the other day, you got my wife break my foot. So fun. We just like to let people have a life, kind of like Franklin FDR fireside chats. We do that same thing once a week. My wife sit down and we sit down and have a fireside chat.
I love that. I tune in for that, especially if your wife is breaking shit. Like, absolutely.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody, remember, you can look up Patrick Wynne. It's spelled W-Y-N-N-E for people who are only listening and not looking. Patrick, W-Y-N-N-E. Thank you so much, Patrick. Princess, who do we have up next? I'm going to put them on, and then I'm going to go beat my webcam with some hammer to see if I can make it work.
It's actually kind of weird just talking to like a little dot with your initials, Who is next?
My initials, but also my GPA, DNF. That was my, sorry.
Oh, babe, we'll work on that. It's fine. It's fine. The education system is not geared towards the individual. It's geared to pumping out drones, to like go into the workplace and be a good employee. But we don't necessarily foster innovation and like finding your own passions and good ideas. So don't feel too bad about your report card, Dan.
I don't.
Good, because it's been too
Who's up
long.
next?
It's too late. You're right. Who's next? We have Mr. who is fostering community and keeping people in the know within like different issues surrounding in Warren County. You're also running for office. Am I mistaken?
Yes, I'm running for alderman here in Warrenton, Missouri. I Liberty in Warren County. We're about 60 miles outside of St. Louis.
We may have lost Josh, but let's try it again. Josh, just in case you come through again, we're going to reload. So unfortunately what happened is that then Princess gets tricked, and Princess believes that it's her connection that's gone bad, but in fact it's Josh's connection that's gone bad. And
no, I got kicked out. I keep getting kicked out.
Oh,
Are you doing this? Are you doing this?
I am not doing
You're
that.
cut off. You're cut off.
I actually, I did stop drinking. I actually, I restarted. Went out and came back in because my camera had gone dead. But I don't think that's
From the
what
other
caused
side, it's just that
everybody
they're
else to
saying,
get kicked out. However,
here we are.
Let's.
We lived here a long time.
We
so-
got the whole list here. So if Josh comes, oh, wait, here's Josh. He's back.
Can you?
Hi, Josh.
You hear me? Okay.
We can. In case we break up again, though, give us the whole pitch in one big long sentence.
Yeah, just make him go
Okay,
big. This is your
so
time.
I am actually, I've noticed quite a lot of your guests today are registered libertarians. I am not a registered libertarian, but we have kind of built bridges across party lines and have found a lot of people here in the area from all sorts of different backgrounds who realize that liberty is for them, and that the liberty movement in this area is really growing, not only with the registered libertarians here, but we have Democrats, Republicans, and people who otherwise have not been engaged in the political process here locally, who are starting to get more involved and overall are really moving liberty forward in this area.
That is awesome. So tell me a little bit about, like, what are the big issues in your area? What are you running on?
We have, it's been very, government in general has continued to grow and has been very heavy handed. More fees, more taxes, more restrictions on private property. We've had bans on business. So we certainly need free market aldermen. We need more transparency and more accountability in office. Frankly, we have some people in office who don't communicate, who try to keep what they're doing hidden. And so all of those areas of need here in Warren County, I think people just want to have more decisions and have more control over their lives, kind of what we've had here lately in government in this area.
That's awesome. I think that's something that pretty much everybody can get behind. How do people find out more about your campaign, more about you?
Liberty in Warren County on Facebook. You can find all sorts of information there on what's going on. We are, again, the focus is here, mostly locally, just here within the county. But you can also find information on the alderman campaign if you like. Also,
that's awesome. So that's really easy. Josh Poor, Liberty in Warren County, easy to find on Facebook. Josh, thanks so much for coming on to Libertarian Speed Dating, Married to the Movement. Speaking of Married to the Movement,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Princess, who's next? Nope, muted. Your volume is off.
Okay,
there you go.
So it was take a shot. Everyone at home, take a shot. I was muted.
I'm doing it.
So the person not you, Dan. I need you to do the job. Okay. Up next, we have a representative from the Dank Liberty Alliance. That was a pretty big meme group, almost 100,000 members, or maybe a little over 100,000. I first joined 7 months ago. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the Dank Liberty Alliance, but unfortunately they got zucked and deleted completely off of Facebook. Typical of fucking Zuckerberg. If you know me, you know that we have beef. Push him to the fucking ground. But I'm excited to introduce Tyson to talk about the new Dank Liberty Alliance page that is Hi, Tyson.
Hello. Can you guys hear me? There's been technical difficulties on the last few.
We can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
Excellent. Because I can't see either of you, so I just wanted to make sure.
I keep popping in and out of the room.
There's always something.
Okay, now I can kind of see Dan. So let's go.
Yeah.
You're up,
Hi.
Tyson. Tell us about the Dank Liberty Association. What were you guys?
So
Alliance.
I'll admit that I came on very late to the Dank Liberty Alliance, so I can't speak to the mission statement or what have you. But essentially, we all know that humor is a very powerful tool for any political campaign, and that humor used poorly is always extremely cringy and off-putting. So it's important to have high-quality memes to keep pushing the movement forward. So that's what we've tried to foster on our group. As was said, we were unfortunately shut down by the Facebook overmind. But we're rebuilding. We're Dank Liberty Alliance, Meme Stash, Operation Enduring Memes now. And we're going well.
Awesome. I love to hear it. When I found it, how I found the Liberty movement was through the Dank and finding jokes. And I really love about you guys, and you're absolutely right. Humor used can really foster conversation and size, because if we're making them laugh, we're letting their guard down. But humor used poorly is often cringy and offensive. And I love that the Dank Liberty Alliance has been able to foster such a team and community of really funny people who have a grasp of what's going on, properly articulate the people. So like, I love what you guys are doing. How do they find the new group?
Just Dank Liberty Alliance Meme Stash on Facebook. We should still be the #1 result. And please help us grow and help us spread the message of hilarious liberty to people around the world.
So I have to ask an important question.
Anyone
one
can
that I
post
think
memes
most
there, right?
people
Anybody.
my age on Facebook want to know.
Yeah,
What
guys,
makes
come
a
on,
meme
come share
dank?
your memes. I post memes there too. So if you want to see what like I've been up to, come check out my
I don't
memes
think
on
Sarah
Dank
can hear
Liberty
me.
At the
Alliance.
same time.
I don't think Sarah can hear me.
Okay, I'll be the go-between. What do you got to say?
I'll let Sarah take the lead.
Okay.
So
I
you told
can't
us
hear
how
Dan
people
either.
can find you. Thank you.
Dan, I hope what you're saying is not important. God, I hope it's not important. It looks important.
It's super important. I just imparted the secret recipe
important.
to
I
the
can't hear him.
colonels.
So we're just gonna Dan, sign it to us. Sign it to us. Spell it.
So Tyson can hear me. Tyson, can you tell her that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear both of you.
It's you.
Hear Dan.
It's you
I
again.
can't hear you, Dan.
All right. We had this problem
Great
before. It's the weirdest thing that she can hear you, but not hear me. I can't explain it. You know what it is? I guarantee you one of the speakers in her headphones is out. And we're coming in on 2 different channels.
I bet that's the case. I mean, this is exactly the kind of content that Dank Liberty Alliance is all about. So I'm
So
sure
that was going to be my one question, and then we're going to move on because it's Liberty Speed Dating. What makes a
So are you
meme dank?
Canadian?
What makes a meme dank?
Yeah.
I feel like a dank meme is something that you laugh at even though you know you shouldn't. A dank meme is a little edgy without being offensive.
That's awesome. And, that's one of the greatest things about Liberty.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Liberty quotes, George Orwell, Liberty means nothing if it doesn't mean the ability to criticize somebody else.
There you go. Perfect.
Awesome. Tyler, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. And Liberty Speed Dating, married to the movement. Coming up, so Princess has gone away and is coming right back. Oh, there she is. Hey, Princess, you're back. Can you hear me?
There I am. I am
You are.
technical genius, just a goddamn hacker, okay? Because like so many times, just the
Did you hear my thing about, I suspect what the problem is when you can hear me and not somebody else, you can hear somebody else and not me. It's that like one of the speakers in your headphone isn't working. That's my guess. And that we're coming in on different headphones.
no,
I don't
because
know.
I can hear you. Like it's not like someone. It's just like you are completely silent. Just like you have like such an energetic look on your face, and like what you're saying sounds important. Well, looks important, but it's just like.
All right. Well, that's good.
And,
So
like, I
tell
can't
me,
hear what you're saying. But who's next? We just said
who
Tyson.
is next?
Oh,
Yeah.
I know who's next. We have Miss Ladies, and help me with this one. I'm dyslexic. Dram Rakowski, I think.
Damn Ratowski.
Ratowski.
Damn
And she said it to me.
Ratowski.
So if I got that wrong. It's fine. It's fine. She loves me. She is
Damratowski. Can you
such-
hear
I don't
me?
think she can
Take
hear
no
you either.
shit.
I can hear her.
Yeah, no.
You
So
hear
Sarah,
me?
yeah, now you can't hear her and you can hear me.
But
I'm
can you
telling
hear
you,
me?
I can
Okay,
hear
hold
you,
on again.
Mercedes. Yeah, it's all right. But you go ahead
This
and
is
tell
just
me.
Okay.
what's happening.
Let me tell you what it says about you in my bio.
Oh God.
Says, Mercedes Damratowski takes no shit, calls it how she sees it, badass woman, online best friend. Do you answer yes to all of those? Oh no, we convinced her that it was her problem and now she logged out and logged back in.
Oh.
Oh no, there you are.
So
Hey,
that's
Mercy.
cutting out a little bit, but I think. Oh my gosh.
Just in case we're having a problem with people going in and out and bad connection, you go ahead and start going, because when you start going, I can hear you. So go ahead and give us your whole spiel. Tell us why you're here. Tell us about why the Liberty Movement should fall in love with you.
So I missed most of that introduction. So all I heard was badass and best friend. So I love you too. It's me. So why you should fall in love with me? Well, I am like a third generation libertarian, but not by name because we just live this way. So I found the Libertarian Party as an adult for real because Laura Ebke, shout out to her, here in Nebraska, obtained ballot access for us. So that allowed me to actually become a political force, I'm going to say, just for it's Valentine's Day and you have to love yourself if you're going to love the world, right? So I'm involved with the Nebraska State Libertarian Party. I'm the secretary of the Tri-Cities affiliate out here in Kearney. We have a meeting today at 4, actually. This is a very busy political day for me here. So that's what I do on the local level with the Libertarian Party. And then with all these beautiful caucuses that advocate for people's rights, like the Outright Libertarian, like the Delta Caucus, and I'm part of the Libertarian Sex Workers' Right Caucus. We're still building. We need more members. We need help. It's still just a baby little nest egg thing. We're just trying to get it going and gain traction and things. I ran for office last year here in the state because the best way to get attention in a good way is to do the thing with the office and the stuff. Hi. Welcome back, Princess. Hi.
Hi.
So bragging about myself.
Do it. That's why you're here.
So yeah, so I got sucked into the caucuses. Team Supreme adopted me with their VSI Institute thingamajigger as a baby libertarian candidate. They're like, come to us, weird one who is also an anarchist, because I'm not saying my mom's an anarchist, but she might be. And that's a drink.
We're all anarchists at heart. Like, take your drink.
The anarchy dad, he said, make good choices and whatever else he said.
Be kind and be brave.
So my mom used to say, go make good choices and learn things and make good choices. And remember, if you get arrested, don't call me because I can't bail you out of jail. So that was like my upbringing for anarchy. And if you want to fall in love with me, all you have to do is go to like the libertarian affiliate meetings that I'm at, and I'll joke at you about things that are probably inappropriate.
That's awesome. My dad used to always say to me, what the hell's wrong with you? Go clean your room.
I don't know what to do with my hands. So my mom owned a nail salon.
Glowing endorsement.
My mom used to own a nail salon during the recession in 2008. So all I know is nothing. That's all I know.
You know, it's interesting in the internet culture, high-end developers in the late 90s, because we worked with our hands, we were hand workers. It became very in vogue for us to go in and get manicured.
Oh, yes. My mother had a male clientele.
Yep.
She's a lawyer now, an attorney at law, excuse me. She's an esquire now. She went and did the law degree thing after she closed her nail salon because she got a criminal justice degree and saw what was going on locally and didn't like it. So went and became a lawyer, attorney at law.
That is awesome. So people want to find out more about how to fall in love with you, Mercy. What's the best way to find you on the internet?
Oh, you could go to Nebraska's mouthiest libertarian, Mercy. That's me, because I'm really mouthy. I think that was in the beginning that I missed, me being an opinionated person.
No,
but,
that's awesome. You are mouthier than Laura Ebke, who's also from Nebraska.
I can't hear you. You can, but
All right. Well, Princess, you can hear me now, right?
I can hear you, but like I tried to fix it because I had 476 tabs open.
Yep.
So I closed all those tabs.
That's
And
a
I'm
good
hoping
start.
that's a good start. I told you I'm a hacker. I'm a computer genius.
Well, you tell me, how do people find Mercedes on the internet if they want to find out more about her?
You can find her on Facebook at Mercedes
Yep.
Kowski. She also has Liberty
Wait,
pages.
you're back, Mercedes.
There she is.
Back. Steve decided to let me say bye, I guess. So
Awesome. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. And like I said, for everybody who's on, at the end of the broadcast, we're going to go through, make sure that you're following the Facebook link or the YouTube link. We're going to publish a list of all the guests, all the links, how to find out more about them. So, who is next on our list?
Next, we have the very first libertarian I've ever met in real life. I'm so excited to introduce you to Victoria Reynolds. She's young, smart, important, and you have to be if you're going to be the chair of the LP. So, hello, Victoria. How are you? We got to get brunch again sometime.
Yes, we do. How are you, Princess? I see Dan is
I'm
here
doing
too.
good.
Hey, how's it
Do
going?
you have any plans for Valentine's Day?
Pardon? Yes, I have plans. I will be washing my hair.
Always good. Always a good
You
thing
know, I
to
might have
do.
a kind of
Is
ice cream on
Sunday's
that
wash
chair.
day?
No, it's just I have nothing better to do. So,
You know, I'll join you on a pint of ice cream. Like, we're not
let's
too far
do it.
away.
That's true.
Let's do
That's
it.
true.
Why
Let's
not?
do
No
it.
one's judging us. And even if they are, like, mind their business. We're libertarians. So,
Right?
what's going on with the Colorado LP?
So the Colorado LP is having some fun stuff happen. A new affiliate is being formed in Pueblo. They should be affiliated in by the next few weeks. We just had Mesa County affiliate. Something that's important is to actually register libertarian, because that helps us with voter access, with ballot access, with keeping us on the ballot, and it helps people see that there are actually libertarians out there. Another fun thing that's happening is the Colorado Convention, May 21st through the 23rd. May 21st, we're going to have an awesome mixer with music and a cash bar. And then on the 22nd, we'll have all of the party business when people get to hopefully elect some other chair rather than me.
You're not running again?
I'm being talked into running again, so probably I will, unless somebody
Okay, let me
else
talk you in
runs.
some more. You're the best person for this job. Like, I really just admire your work, and I think you should do it because, like, why deprive people of the greatness that is Victoria? Victoria's running, guys, so make sure to vote for her.
In order to vote, you have to be a libertarian by registered libertarian in Colorado by February 20th. So that's next week. And
Okay, you're running out of time. Move. Everyone move to Colorado. Vote for Victoria.
Exactly. Move here. I started the Reopen Colorado movement. I don't know if everybody knows about that, but we need to keep telling our politicians that they don't get to dictate how we live our lives or what we can do or can't do, where we can go or cannot go. Joining the Libertarian Party or the Libertarian movement is a really good way to show people that we will not, just stand there idle while our rights are being taken away. And so lpcolorado.org is where the details for the convention are. And I hope that a lot of people will come. We have Spike Cohen coming along with his wife, Tasha. We have Scott Horton also coming. We have Laura Ebke and Maxwell. What is his last name? He got elected in Wyoming, and Apola Pazel, and a bunch of other speakers.
Marshall Burt.
Pardon?
Marshall Burt.
Marshall Burt. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
coming too. He's going to be doing a breakout session. And Tara from who does fundraising, she will be coming as well, and a bunch of other people. So come, have fun, It is a gold and purple theme for our golden anniversary in Golden, Colorado. And remember that Colorado is the birthplace of the Libertarian Party. So I hope to see everyone there.
That's
And I think that's all
awesome.
I got.
Thank you so much, Victoria. That was a lot to love. lpcolorado.org. And it is indeed the 50th anniversary of the Libertarian Party. If you haven't been out to Golden, it's beautiful. I recommend people who want to get out. You know, we all want to get out. We've been cooped up for a long time. If it's a good time for you to travel, Colorado would be an amazing place to go to. So thank you very much for that, Victoria. Princess, who do we have next on Libertarian Speed Dating?
Well, Dan, I can't hear a word you're saying, but whatever you said looked inspirational. And like, I'm from Colorado, so I will be at that convention too. You guys should pop in, come say hi. I'll probably be inebriated by like the 3rd hour, but that's what's fun about it.
I'm going to go ahead and give the introduction.
I can't understand what you're saying.
The next person is James. Hey, James, can you hear me?
Mr. James.
I can hear both of you.
Hold on, I can't hear anybody. I'm leaving. Bye.
Well, what's up? How's it going, Dan? Thanks.
Pretty good. So tell me a little bit. This is Liberty Speed Dating, the Liberty Love. Why should people who are looking for Liberty organization to fall in love with you and what you're doing?
So actually, Princess and I host a podcast called The Take on Everything, which is kind of our little side project, trying to bring a little bit of unity to not just the Libertarian Party, but the Libertarian movement. Trying to bring people in, talk about whether it's current events, historical events, concepts, like, we'll do the drug war, economics, we'll do any kind of recent events, and really bring it and put a libertarian spin on it. So trying to put some ideas out there and unify people behind those ideas. And so that's our little project, to try to unify the movement and throw our voices out there. So if you guys want to check it out, we'd love to have you join in. We're going to start doing live. We've been doing some kind of pre-record and then post-edit and release stuff, but we're going to start trying to do some live episodes. So definitely check us out. Join us, comments. We love to have those kind of interactions with people. Dan, by the way, I don't know if anybody's told you this. You sound exactly like Tim Allen. I ran into you at the Maryland State Central Committee this past year, and you were giving a speech. I was like, who is this guy? I'd never run into you before. I'm like, is that Tim Allen? It's got to be Tim Allen, because every single time I hear you do a live stream or in person or anything, it's insane. I don't know how often you've got that, but
I have never heard Tim Allen before. I get a lot of Jack Black, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but
it's weird. Everybody that's listening, go to YouTube and type in any random Tim Allen thing, and like side by side, I'd say it's like 80-85% comparison. Like,
it's a fascinating thing. I appreciate it. It's certainly not a bad analysis. I like
no, because it's a great voice. That was a compliment, right?
Absolutely. I very much appreciate it. I like a lot of what Tim Allen says too. So
yeah,
that's good stuff.
That is a win right there.
So you're a guy who's been traveling, though. If we bumped into each other in Maryland, you travel for the Liberty Movement.
Somewhat. So I was in, I've been to, Wisconsin for some of their rallies. Helped out with Joe and Spike campaign. This is a shirt. Shout out to Wisconsin Libertarians. They gave me this shirt while I was up there. I've been around. So yes. But yeah, we ran into, I'm actually part of Maryland Central Committee. So this is my home area. So I definitely want to put a shout out to a couple people, which are great. In Maryland, I'm on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. So my local chairs are Tim Miller and Crystal Woodworth. So shout out to them for really, they're great guys, and we do lots of events. And thank you for showing up for the last. It was the Crab Feast, classic Maryland. You got to eat the crabs.
You guys are my state party now, and my understanding is that there's going to be a really great state campaign coming up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in Maryland. So shout out to those guys. But yeah, so hey, Princess, now that you're back, I wanted to give you a shout out because we talked a little bit about the show and how we're like, killing it for the Liberty movement, really knocking it out, sharing some ideas. I'm the boring one. I like to present a lot of like the technical random crap. And then Princess comes in, she knocks it out of the park and makes it actually entertaining. So it keeps people in their seats just long enough to hear me babble. So that's why actually how we teamed up. It's the best team ever because we actually ran into each other, I don't know, like during the Spike and Joe campaign. And I was invited to represent the libertarian thought on a progressive podcast. They were interested in some learning a little bit about more libertarians. I'm not going to call anybody out. But Princess, I had run into her memes online. I was like, these are fire. I need that spice to come with me because I'm the boring dude. She needs to really, be the fire on this. So we joined forces, nailed it. We were invited back again, knocked it out again. And then we decided to just knock this podcast out together because I feel like we work so well together. So guys, I really encourage you guys to check us out. I think it's fun. Not to be like, too, pat it on the back, but every once in a while, I'll listen to one of our episodes and be like, oh, those guys are great. I'm like,
that's the best. The best compliment if you can listen to your own stuff again, because I tell you, I have a radio show and there's sometimes I listen to my old stuff and I'm like, what was I thinking then?
Well, hey, now that you know that you sound like Tim Allen, maybe you'll give it a second shot, second try.
Maybe I'm going to start reading some of those home improvement things, bring them live. So just quick plug, where do people find you guys, James?
Yeah, so we're just about everywhere. We're on the website is thetakeoneverything.com. It's real easy to find. It's got all of our links to social media. We've got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on Podbean. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Amazon, basically any Spotify, any platform where you get your podcast. We're on there. Or we're being approved, but I think we've been approved for everything at this point. So we're out there. So just Google the Take On Everything. We'll come up. We got a website. We got all the social media. So check us out. Sarah Brooke and Princess and I tag team the posts and whatnot. So it's a good little mix there. So
that's awesome. Thank you so much, James. Thank you for being on Liberty Speed Dating. Princess, I think your real name is probably going to be the worst kept secret on the internet at this point in time. Aside from the 25
You know what?
times.
If the government hasn't found me yet, they will soon, especially since I say provocative shit on the internet. But I've never listened to a podcast I've done. Like, it's just out there. It's a conversation I've had. So the fact that you guys are like listening to that is weird to me.
Right.
I've never listened to it again. I don't know. I hate the sound of my voice, I think is what it is. I think I sound
no, your voice sounds good.
Does it really?
Yeah, I
like
think
it.
so. I mean,
I don't like it.
one of the
nobody
things
likes the sound of their voice, though.
One of the things that people told me when I had my radio show, and it's funny that James talked about saying that I sound like Tim Allen, is that people would often come up to me and say, you know what, Dan, I love your radio show. You have a face for radio. I'm like, oh, thanks. It's a common joke.
You have a face for live
we have
streams,
next.
okay? You have a face for live streams, Dan. We have one of my Liberty sisters again, Miss Rachel Torrance. She is such a fun individual, an absolute go-getter. Every time I have a conversation with her, she's doing something for her campaign. I think last time she was making T-shirts in her living room. She's the person you want in office because she's going to happen. If you want it done yourself, right, Rachel?
Absolutely. Do it yourself.
All right, lady, I love you so much. Tell people about your campaign.
Well, interestingly enough, what started out as disdain for the two main parties has brought me into being a candidate myself. I never would have seen myself running for office, little miss, make myself as small as possible. I don't want you in my business. I don't want to be in your business. But it's interesting because I found the Liberty movement after exploring a protest vote for Dolly Parton. I was going to vote for her, or I was going to write her in based on her education focus, her business focus, and her love of all people. Somebody introduced me to Jorgensen, and I just started running and volunteering, and our people are the best people. I have so many volunteers that have just jumped in and started doing all of these things for me. I have some awesome people like Angela Pence and Ryan Jenkins that are just pushing me to be the best person I can be. But Chattanooga City Council District 3, we have a beautiful city. And at the beginning of March, we decided to lock down. We had mandates for masks, we had mandates for lockdowns, and it just didn't sit well with me. I even started reaching out to state and local well, at least on the state level, there is a bill that's the HB 0037 that says that no state or local executive can deem a person essential or non-essential. So I'm running on the fact is we're all essential.
You muted yourself, Princess.
Everyone take a shot. I muted myself. So go ahead, Dan. Take another one. So we're all essential to somebody. People are counting on us. Even if it's not your kids, it's the bank who wants their money back. So like, I love that idea that no one can tell you who's essential and who's not. It's so important and a message that we really need in this campaign. So I've been asking everybody, Rachel, what do you love most about the Liberty movement?
The people. Absolutely 100% the people. This year has been the most extraordinary year of finding people that are on your level, that are rooting for you, and that are 100% fighting for your rights while you're fighting for theirs. These people have become my family, and the Liberty movement is just my home now. It's where I am to stay.
I love that so much, you know, because like I've mentioned a few times already, the people are why I'm here. Like as soon as you guys stop wanting this, like I'm done. But as long as this is the direction you're going, like I'm here for it and I'm here for you. And I just love the tenacity and the spirit that you bring to the movement. So last question before I let you go. What about your campaign, about your office will leave the world better than when you found it?
And so the biggest things that I want to focus on are bringing the principles of individual liberty, reducing the strain of government overreach, and attacking harmful policies for these people in our city. So some of the hardest things that we see is the blanket statements that are more harmful than they are helpful. So I want to start getting to root causes and start making a difference there, and empowerment over control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it because we are all our own little government. And that's why everyone has the potential to be a princess of your own sovereignty, you know? Rachel, I love you to death. I love interacting with you. You're one of my favorite Liberty sisters. And thank you so much for being on.
Quick thing, let's plug that URL in the back.
Oh yeah, plug it. RachelTDistrict3.com. You can see it right back here.
Awesome. And just remind everybody,
AEL.
Awesome. Just remind everybody, make sure that you're following the Facebook post for this broadcast and the YouTube post for this broadcast, because we're going to publish a list with everybody's links. So, Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Who is next, Princess?
You think I'd be prepared by now. Next, we have Derek Britton from the Post Political podcast. And I actually really love his podcast. He's such a great interview, like absolutely fantastic. He asks the questions that you want to know, and he has the ability to get people to reveal information that they probably wouldn't have if you were just asking basic questions. He has such a great, and I love the way he's able to tackle complex, maybe provocative topics. So hi, Derek, how are you?
Hey. Good, how are you doing?
Thanks for being on.
Let's give a shout out to those nice sound deadening boards too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and hopefully I've got a nice sign going to be in one of those blocks. I think it should be here Monday. Someone 3D printed the Post Political podcast logo, so that'll be going up pretty soon.
That'd be a nice touch. I absolutely love it. So tell us about your podcast. What's going on?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. So I am a libertarian, but the podcast itself is a little kind of different. So we take in, any third party or a person that wants to achieve a goal that is aligning with some of the principles that we have in the Libertarian Party. So, I interview some progressive Democrats. I interview independents, Green Party folks, libertarians, of course, anarchists. Folks that are just kind of feel politically homeless. They don't feel like they have a great spot to be or maybe the support that they deserve. And they want to work on something that we want to work on. I mean, there's a ton of folks out there that want to do, whether it be decriminalizing different sorts of drugs or sex work, or trying to work with the criminal justice system and remove qualified immunity or something. That's a common goal amongst a lot of different people. And someone told me a while ago that if all libertarians voted for libertarian policies or libertarian candidates, we would lose every race. We just don't have the numbers today as registered libertarians to win those things. So we need to start forming these coalitions, and we need to start bridging gaps between us and other folks, or we're not going to see, the people set free in our lifetime like we want. So, I really, a lot of the social issues is the focus. But I'll bring on someone that wants to fight for anything that is within kind of the Libertarian Party structure that they want to achieve with us, I guess.
I love that. That is so important. It's such a conversation that needs to be had, especially in this nonpartisan. I applaud you for being able to speak to people of different perspectives. That's something I personally really struggle with. Like, I cannot talk to the left. I know that about myself, that if I try to engage the left, I'm going to be hurting the movement. So I just ignore them. I ignore that they exist. We move on with our lives. But that's why it's so important that we have people like you, Derek, in the movement. So how do people find your podcast?
Yeah, so I'm on, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the podcast places, Post Political Podcast. I also have the website, postpoliticalpodcast.com. We're actually doing a big, if you go to the shop in the Post Political Podcast, you can actually buy, there's a few shirts and hats that have, be gay, do crime is the slogan. And we're doing basically 100% of the proceeds are going to the Trans Resource Network of Louisiana. Ari Gabrick, another libertarian, is doing a lot of work with them to help house and drive people to gender affirmation surgeries, or just trying to help out that community down in Louisiana. There's a lot of folks being kicked out of homes and stuff with COVID, and just because they're being kind of targeted, I guess, by landlords and stuff. So the hope is that we're going to help those folks get some housing or anything that they really need. So 100% of the proceeds go to that if you buy the Be Gay, Do Crime stuff in our shop.
Awesome. Derek Britton, Post Political Podcast. Derek, thank you so much for being on the show with us. Liberty Speed Dating. We are going to the next person. We have one of your favorite friends, Sarah Bobo. Sarah.
I can't hear a thing on here right
Sarah,
now.
I adore her. She is the libertarian matchmaker.
what's going on.
Okay, she runs the Porcupine.
Give me just a second. I'm gonna have to leave and come back.
So actually got Zuck too. I swear to God.
Can you hear me,
Zuckerberg? I can't
Princess?
hear you. Just let.
So Sarah's having a problem with her sound. She's going to come back in. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, she's going to try to come back in. I'm going to be watching. We'll let her in.
Okay, well, we technically have a 5-minute break because Alan already went.
Okay.
So, Dan, do you want to tell your story?
I will tell a quick story. Wait, here's Sarah coming back in. I see her. She's going to be here in just a second. We are going, see, as far as Princess knows, I am telling my story. Let's see if I can see her. Let me get you back into the room. She's coming in. Sarah, no, that's not Sarah. Sorry, that's William Hawkins. We're going to come right back to you, William. Be right back. Sarah is coming in and out. Let me see if Princess is back. Princess, are you back?
Damn it, I had you and then I lost you again.
That's okay. It's good.
Okay, I'm leaving.
No, I'm convinced it's your headset. It's your headset, Princess. All right. Sarah, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Let's go with what we got.
Okay.
And if the video comes on, that's great. Tell us a little bit about your thing. My note sheet for you says Libertarian Matchmaker Powerhouse Unity. Go.
That sounds about right. Yeah. So yeah, I run I started the Porcupine Hub. So, which is the group on Facebook, Discord, and MeWe, and Reddit, and basically it's like a big hangout for the porcupines, all of libertarians. So, and we discourage all the infighting that normally happens in some of these libertarian pages. So,
that's awesome. So, also it says Libertarian Matchmaker. Now, is that like Yenta style matchmaking, or is that You sing the
That's
song,
like,
Matchmaker, Matchmaker?
setting people like, so yeah, we have been making matches left and right all over the place between libertarians, and it's kind of nice to be able to cut out all the middlemen of like, oh, we don't agree with each other on this politically and this ideally and this morally. So it's kind of nice, and some of the people that we've already set up have just been, they're so happy right now. It's awesome. I love it.
That's great. So how do people find this group?
They can find it on Facebook, and then generally on Facebook, we will put the links to the other, to the Discord and MeWe and stuff. So you can get on Facebook and find the links and move on to those.
I get on Facebook and I search for what?
Porcupine Hub.
Porcupine Hub. That's pretty easy.
And it's Porcupine Hub 2.0 because Zuck took our first one.
All right. So if I search for Porcupine Hub and I see Porcupine Hub 1.0, stay away. Those guys are bad news. Porcupine Hub 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That's good. Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. I am convinced is that all the things that have been zucked, it's going to come back to life as Zuckerberg zombies, and they're going to be like organizations for the state. Terrible idea. So
we were going to come on. I've got about 5 minutes, and we were going to talk about the plan for Kevin Bacon, New Mexico.
Let's hear it.
So basically what the plan is we are it's sort of like the Free State Project, but it's not. Okay, so in the Free State Project, what they're planning on doing is they're going to go and take over New Hampshire, right? And create a new free libertarian state up there. Is how they're doing it. And what we're planning on doing is going out into the middle of nowhere where there is nothing but land, buy a whole bunch of land, and start up our own town. So we are raising money to start up a town that's going to be strictly libertarian. We're going to live on our libertarian principles out in the middle of New Mexico. So we are going to be raising money to buy the land. And then Sarah Brooke here actually had a fantastic idea for setting up all of our our roads and our schools and everything else that we might possibly need in the town, that usually taxes pay for. We are going to do a reality show to raise the money to do that, and it'll also give people a little bit of insight. Now, whether we do it on YouTube or we actually get picked up by an actual network,
pitch it to Netflix.
The whole point of it. Yeah, we'll try and get it on Netflix or Hulu or something like that. But if it ends up on YouTube, that works too, because, it's going to be bringing our principles to the wider audience and give people an insight to how libertarians would live without the taxes, without the this, without the things that they normally people like to complain about. What about our roads? Well, we're going to show you.
And I think you can count on the People for Liberty Network to restream it afterwards. So that's awesome. Very quickly,
absolutely. I'm willing to humiliate myself for the cause on TV. So awesome. I am willing to do that for you guys.
So libertarian speed dating. We're moving on. Tell us once again what to search for on Facebook to find you guys.
I'm sorry?
Tell us again what to search for on Facebook to find you guys.
Porcupine Hub 2.0.
Porcupine Hub. We can't say it enough.
Porcupine
Hub 2.0.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We appreciate you had a super tight schedule.
Very.
Princess, you look like you have resolved at least some sound issues. Nope, you're muted.
Take a shot.
Now it's good.
Take a shot. I switched to my laptop, but I had to take my headphones off, and now I can't get my curls to be in this headset, so it looks weird. Deal with it. I don't care.
If you're on the laptop, you don't need the headset, right?
Yeah, I do, because then there'll be an awful echo, Okay. So you take what you can get.
Fair enough. We're coming up to the tail end of the show.
We're at the end anyway. We're at the end.
We got the end. So who's next?
We saved the best for last. So I think we have Brad Lyon on next. And what I really appreciate him as a director is he has such an immersive directive style.
Hang on a second. I'm looking on the right-hand side of my screen of all the people who are here. Brad, if you're here and you've described yourself as either Greg or William, raise your hand.
Oh my God, he's not here.
He's not here, but that's all right.
That's tragic.
We have Kareem here.
We have Kareem Mays. He's running.
Kareem can go, and if Brad shows up, Kareem, are you ready to go?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Awesome.
So, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Kareem Mays. I share a lot of memes, just like Princess. although I'm working up to the dankness on them. And I was 13, I found Ron Paul, and then ever since I've been going down that path and became a voluntarist. And now I am working in Pennsylvania to run for some local offices. And I will be in 2022 going for the Libertarian nomination for the 55th Legislative District. My biggest issues, if you're going to ask, are getting small businesses open. If we just follow the logic, there's no reason Walmart can't be open and small businesses can't be open. Lowering property taxes so I don't have to pay rent to a government, which makes no sense, and getting rid of other nonsensical taxes. And just the third one, my big one, is just getting at least some bad drug policies taken away or ending the drug war here. So that's my goal. And shout out to Joe Solosky, who's running for governor in Pennsylvania, and Steve Sheets, who's running for senator in there as well. I hope to be able to put legislation on their desk.
I love that so much, Kareem. Like, you are one of the people fighting the good fight of turning, I hate the way my hair looks in these headphones, but you are one of the people who's turning the map blue. And that's such an important initiative in like what we're doing and how we move. We show people that these are viable options. And what I love about your campaign and like your politics in particular is it's make sense initiatives. It's something that can happen right now as we move towards a more idealistic society. So I'm asking this question to everyone. What do you love most about the Liberty movement? And also, what are the 3 biggest issues your campaign is running on to try to fix if you win?
Okay, so what I love most about the Liberty movement is probably Austrian economics, because that gives you an insight into how things could work without having a central controller or a centralized planner, which everybody, unfortunately, when they ask, how will you do anything, even running a stream, well, do you have a centralized planner? No, I don't. Does Bitcoin have a centralized planner? No, it doesn't. Does anything really that works well have central planning? And I would say pretty much 99% no. So that's what I like about it, that individuals coming together, just like we saw with GameStop, people who called them stonks literally took out a huge hedge fund. I think we're going to see more and more David Goliath things. And I don't know if they're necessarily libertarians in that sense, but I do believe decentralized individuals coming together can overcome the strongest collective entities. My 3 biggest things, thanks for making the screen bigger. And as I said, my 3 biggest issues are getting small businesses open, because if we don't have small businesses open, we don't have a future. I know you'll say, wait, we have Amazon, we have Walmart, we have Microsoft, which is fine, but they can go tomorrow. People don't realize history, big companies go boom and bust all the time. And the government can't bail them out forever. So killing small businesses is literally killing, in my opinion, the industry and the economic future for America. That's my biggest one. Next would be just getting rid of coercive taxes if possible. The biggest one being property tax here. It makes sense to me as a teenager. Why am I paying rent to the government when I take time to clean my house, to maintain my house, and getting things like estate tax, hopefully corporate tax, stuff like that. And then last but not least, the drug war is still causing some problems. And in my opinion, a lot of the problems that happened, and I'm not going to go into details, but a lot of the police problems that happened over the summer that caused outrage, if you look back to them, they were all linked to issues with the drug war specifically. And by ending those coercive policies, that doesn't mean I'm advocating the use of it, but the use of those substances. But I'm saying that it should be treated as a medical issue rather than a criminal issue. And then if there's time, getting rid of drug law or getting rid of gun laws, all gun laws, reducing emergency powers, and hopefully decreasing the legislative branch. My thing is, yes, I am a voluntarist. I agree with Murray Rothbard, but the hard part is if you throw that right here, right now, people say we can't get there. And I understand that. It's hard to go from Biden or Trump to like a voluntary society. But if you say, hey, we can work a little bit towards something like Joe Jorgensen, if we can win at the local and state level and start showing people these ideas work, then I can move in quotes, I'm going to use this, progressively towards a voluntary society. And hey, if you have to decide at this point between voting for Democrats or Republicans over libertarians, then you ain't that free. I'm not installed.
I agree completely. Like, I fully support the idea of incremental changes. We start at the local level. We show our communities that it's possible, that they can depend on each other and rely on themselves. And then they're willing to take that leap of faith to do that for the entire nation. And like, you are such an important aspect of like the movement and where we're going. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing and the memes that you share. Like, you're one of my favorite shit posters.
Yeah, I try and share some interesting ones, then some funny ones like deer. There's one with a deer that said, "Hi, you're a dumb deer." And it's like, you literally think we need taxes to build roads. So, or something about Bitcoin. I think it's important people now start to look at Bitcoin seriously as they keep inflating the monetary supply. Not to say that drop all your dollars today, but it's something important to look at decentralized solutions. And even on my podcast, I run a little show called Liberty and Consciousness with Max Henry, if you know him. And I do that on YouTube. I think it's important to come up with solutions, pragmatic solutions between individuals. So
awesome. So Kareem, thank you so much for that. Good luck with your campaign. How do people get in touch with you? How do they find out more about you?
Okay, so there's several ways you can find me, Kareem M. Mays. On Facebook, you can find my page, Kareem4, the word 4, or the number 4 Liberty, on Facebook and Twitter. And awesome. I'm going to have a website with that. And then if you'd like to watch my show, it is on YouTube with Max Henry and a couple guests. I had Dan Berman on there. It's called Liberty and Consciousness, promoting liberty through consciousness expansion. And I'm part of the Mises Caucus as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kareem. Liberty Speed Dating. We are on to the next date. We're going to have a quick change in order. We're going to bring up William Hawkins, who is in Virginia. Hey, William, how's it going?
Hi,
Hello.
William.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
I am super excited for you to present. I have been following your campaign. As far as like being a Black member of the libertarian community, it's no secret diversity issue. But also you're such a fair individual as far as like assessing issues. Like, I love the way you're able to see both people's perspectives, but then also your ability to collaborate and find a solution that may not be exactly the libertarian ideal, but gets the job done and helps as many people as possible. And I love that about you. So tell us about your campaign. Like, what's going on?
So I'm running for Virginia House of Delegates in the 70th district. We have off-year elections. So for me, it's 2021. Which is actually pretty important. A lot of people in Virginia actually don't show up to the off-year elections. Even basically, you're voting every year if you live in Virginia, and I think there's like 4 other states that have off-year elections every year as well. So that's part of the struggle, is that everybody just voted and then they kind of forget about it for 2 years. So I have to reach out to as many people as possible, remind them that they still have an election this year and how important it is. But yeah, it's the biggest challenge I have right now, besides that one, is that the district that I'm running in, it's a person who's been the incumbent since 2009, never been challenged, pretty much a deep blue district. And I have to convince people that libertarianism is the better way, or another option for them, rather. I went from being Democrat to years ago, like 10 years ago, to politically homeless, until some friends when I was in the military introduced me to libertarianism. And I started reading and researching, and absolutely fell in love with the policies, the ideals, and the people. The people, they're all fighters. I haven't met a single libertarian that's not a fighter for the liberty movement. So
Absolutely. And that seems to be the theme. Like whenever we talk about what we love about the Liberty movement, it's either our principles or the people fighting for them. And I think it's important this Valentine's Day to remember that we are a community full of love, full of people fighting for the same ideals, the same principles. And like, you are definitely one of those people. I sympathize with you trying to get people excited about politics on an off year election. Good luck. Good absolute luck. But what is the biggest issue you're running on? Like, how will your campaign and your candidacy leave the world better than when you found it?
So again, to me, it's about promoting libertarianism and a freer society. One of the things that a lot of the two major parties get wrong is law and criminal justice reform. I'm in what we call a blue state. They have a trifecta. They have the Senate. They have the entire legislation. They have the governor as well. And we have yet to make any major strides on criminal justice reform, even though there were, protests and all types of things going on last year. And to me, in my opinion, what I think we should do is limit our overall interaction with law enforcement and the entire justice system. So should police be pulling over people for an expired registration, if that person is still capable of driving, to me, that's a crime with no victim. So I'm all about eliminating crimes with no victim, period, so that we can figure out, there's other ways to do these things. Same thing with the war on drugs. We got to end the war on drugs. And I mean, there's one state that already did it. And instead of slapping these people with felonies and throwing them in jail, that doesn't help them. It just ruins their lives. And the status of felony alone, you have trouble finding a job, you have trouble finding housing. So
that's awesome. Whereabouts in Virginia are you, William? I'm right across the river in Maryland.
Oh, nice. I'm in Richmond in the Henrico County area, running in the 70th district.
I am excited to drive down and work on your campaign.
Awesome.
You're doing it right now.
Awesome.
You're an outstanding candidate. How do people get in touch with you?
Well, my website, I have my email address, but my website is hawkinsforvirginia.com. Make sure it's all spelled out, not the number 4, hawkinsforvirginia.com. My Facebook is Hawkins for Virginia, and I could be reached either one of those ways.
That's awesome. And if people want to donate to your money to your campaign now, it's not too early, right?
It is not too early. We are working on nominations for actual, party member status, but it is not too early.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, William. Thanks for being on Libertarian Speed Dating, Married to the Movement. I think a lot of people are going to fall in love with your campaign in Richmond, the capital of Virginia. William Hawkins for Virginia. Thanks, William.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And we come down to one more guest running for governor. Who is it, Princess?
It is Greg Mealy, and I hope I'm saying that right. And I really admire this man for his thoughtful assessments of where we are in government, but also his ability to articulate things in a way that's simple for the people that don't necessarily know about the Liberty movement and are kind of indoctrinated into like the way society is running now. He has such a way of putting things into perspective that's easy to understand. He also has my dream career. You're an attorney, you own a law firm. Like that's going to be my one day, like my name on the building. I'm obsessed with you.
Junior partner.
Goals, absolute goals. But tell us about your campaign, Greg.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Princess, for that introduction. Thank you, and Dan, and People for Liberty for giving me these few minutes. I really appreciate it. We've got our website up. First of all, I'll get that out of the way. It's Mealy, and it's MELE, the word for FOR, governor.com. I also have a Facebook page for the candidacy, Greg Mealy, Libertarian candidate for governor of New Jersey. And we are having a couple of overriding themes that cover all the points on our website. It's personal choice and responsibility and free markets that are by far the most efficient way of doing things than any government entity probably ever has in history. So I have a running mate also in New Jersey, and we do have, besides my friend Mr. Hawkins from Virginia, we're the only two states, Virginia and New Jersey, this year that have a governor's race. So we're going to do our best to make it, a real noticeable campaign. The lieutenant governor running mate I have also is Eve Brownstein. She's an expert libertarian and just a wonderful person to work with. I enjoy every chance I get to be able to accomplish things with her and the rest of the folks in the party. So number one for us, and there you go. That's the start. And so you can see both of us there. The main thing, of course, is these lockdowns. It's been horrible. It's been tyrannical. Basically, we've got New Jersey ranking last in just about every category in the country because of these restrictions and other big government policies that have been destroying this state for a long time. So we have to end these lockdowns right away. There's no science, and I have a biostatistician who is top notch, who is confirming consistently that there's no appreciable difference of having the lockdown versus not. It's really personal responsibility. Look, if you want to stay home, that's fine. If you want to go out and make a living, that's fine. We've never quarantined the healthy in all the history of all the illnesses out there, all the diseases that have been out there for our entire lives. And now suddenly, we had to do it here. I don't see the connection, and the data doesn't present one either. Otherwise, small business is being crushed with fees and taxes. We have to let them operate so that they can provide more jobs for more people, and like capitalism does, lifts more people out of poverty, and as opposed to any other system. Also, we're big on school choice this year, trying to make things competitive. Again, free market theme. If we don't have competitive performance, then we see people who are just going through the motions versus people who are actually trying to make a difference. And we see the difference in school performance now dramatically. Schools that have been open and have basically, a lot of them are private schools. They've been doing fine. There's no problems with the COVID virus. And at the same time, the students are well outperforming students that are doing the home learning. Some schools, they're not even requiring the kids to put their camera on when they're on the Zoom session for school, and they're doing all kinds of stuff other than schoolwork. It's just not even close. So it's a disaster. It's got to be more competitive. We also want to get rid of some medical red tape so that we can get support in the hospitals for our heroes in the healthcare field to do what they do best. So, eliminating all kinds of unnecessary regulation that's just serving to impede. That's what we have to get rid of. In New Jersey, our infrastructure is the most costly to maintain, and that's because that's not competitively bid out enough in the free market as well. Then also similar for climate innovation. We have different ideas are tossed around about different solutions, the electric, the wind, all this kind of stuff, but people don't look behind the curtain and see that the footprint is very similar for many of them. The cleanest is nuclear if we can make it safe enough. And then, we would have a much more efficient system and a reduced footprint, like everyone is saying they want. They're just not seeing that that's really the direction we need to go. So otherwise, we've got just a couple of more things is the gun rights. We're always promoting, of course, as little regulation as possible. And now that marijuana was voted overwhelmingly by the public in last November's vote, we have now a situation, though, where the state government is still dragging their feet on, first of all, day one has to be release all the nonviolent offenders, and second of all, level the playing field. So this is just like cigarettes and alcohol. We have at least some kind of fairness.
It's killing me because as your neighbor to the south, I'm in Maryland, but I moved here 2 years ago from Massachusetts, where we had everything legal, including home grow. You guys are the closest state to me now that has at least recreational for sale, but it's been 2 months and there's no stores open yet. It's going to be like 18 months, right?
It's certainly not going to happen until I win office. So,
so you can count on me to come up and carry a sign around and support your campaign as well.
There you go.
Only a 3-hour drive. Although I will occasionally say to myself that I'm going to get there and not give any money to the state by driving on the Pike. So it might take me a little longer.
Yeah,
But
you know, this budget has to be fixed. There's so
yeah,
many problems.
I appreciate it so much. Tell us again quickly, how do people find you on the internet, Greg?
Sure. The main website for the campaign, and also where you can click to donate, and please, folks, as much as possible, we appreciate it. It's Mealy. It's Mealy, my last name, MELE, FOR governor.com. MEalyforgovernor.com. I've got a Facebook page up as well. I've got accounts on all the other social media. A lot of the postings I do get automatically propagated through all of them, so you can find me in a few places, but those are the main places to go.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Greg. I look forward to addressing you as governor when I talk about how the next recreational marijuana store is going to be open up in New Jersey.
We are in it to win it. We're giving people their lives back this year.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Greg.
Wow.
Jeez. Holy shit. I did not expect this many fantastic organizations. And I mean that genuinely. Just like everyone's doing something that's going to have a real positive impact and move the needle in the right direction. And I am so proud to be associated with you guys. I am so proud to be welcomed with open arms. Like, this is such an important movement, not just for ourselves and like what we want to accomplish, but for like everybody in general, like our fellow Americans. They deserve this opportunity to be liberated. And I hope that everyone gets to experience the libertarian movement and party the way I have. Maybe not the party, but definitely the movement. And I'm so excited. This was fun. I had a really great time. And I appreciate you, Dan, for giving me your afternoon to highlight these amazing projects. And you know what? As a favor from me to you, take the rest of the day off. You know what? You earned it. Take the rest of the day.
I appreciate it. I actually am going to do my big recreational thing, which is I am going to go out and
drugs.
No, that is a recreational thing that I like. But I am so into firewood right now, especially like in the middle of winter.
Okay.
You obviously do not follow me on, or we haven't known each other that long, but
We haven't.
So I live on 6 acres of forest,
Invite me.
and this year I've always heated my or at least for the last 20 years, I've heated my house with wood. But this is the first year that I have the ability to actually go out into the woods. And right now, I'm obviously only bringing in fallen trees because you can't burn wood that's less than a year old, that's been rotting less than a year. So I'm bringing in fallen trees. Why?
Yeah,
because it's green. It takes over a year for wood to dry out. If you were to cut down a tree and put it into a fireplace, it would not burn. It would be too wet.
This doesn't seem like an efficient fuel process if I got to wait a year.
Well, and obviously there's going to be some people who are going to say, wait a minute, Dan, I've seen forest fires and those trees are on fire.
Oh, good point. Those trees are on fire, Daniel.
It's in an extremely hot environment, but in general, if you cut down a tree, it will not burn very well. Drying it out makes it burn a lot better. It's amazing how much water wood can hold. But so I am in the process of, we got this cold spell coming up. I got about 6 days of wood stacked up. I'm going to try to do 2 more days before the end of the afternoon because nothing says Happy Valentine's Day to your partner like a warm house. So
I'll take your word for it.
That is my jam. How about you? So actually, let's talk a couple things. First of all, there were so many great organizations, like you pointed out, and we talk about falling in love with organizations. One of the nice things about libertarians, we're not going to say boo about polyamory. If that's your jam, if you find more liberty organizations that you want to be in love with, do it. And we have so many great candidates. And that's one of the things that I love is that it's really easy. Like I found 2 candidates here right at the end that are within driving distance. And that's something that means a lot to a candidate. If somebody will drive and show up and be there for a standout, come to an event, something like that, that's huge. I can't wait to get there to support William and to support Greg. Because they're both, within 3 hours of me. That's easy cheesy. Happy to do that. And, all the people who came on, I'm trying to think of who the highlights were because I liked everybody.
Every single one was a highlight. And like, that is incredible to me that like, regardless of like, if people know you or not, every single person we had on today had something to offer and something to highlight. And that was fantastic. But as you were saying, like, this was an opportunity to find your next Liberty passion project. And I'm so happy that you were able to connect with two people like that. That was more than I was hoping for. Two? Jesus. You're absolutely right, Dan. This was fantastic.
It's more than two. Those are the only people who I'm committing to driving to the campaign.
Everyone else gets a plane ticket.
Well, I'm gonna be listening to the Post Political podcast. That was very exciting. I've known Ashley for forever. I'm going to be supporting her campaign in North Adams. Not going to be able to drive up there, but I've already sent her a little bit of money. Probably send her more soon too. I'm looking forward to joining Sean and the Newfound Liberty Group, Grassroots Leadership Academy. And I want to apologize. At the beginning, I wrote Grassroots Academy. It's Grassroots Leadership Academy. You can look that up and you'll find it very quickly. The amazing amount of work that they're doing. We talked about candidates, right? They are training people who are activists who end up getting involved in political campaigns. They're not training them for any one candidate. They're not training them for any one political party, anything like that. They're training people to have the skills to get involved and make a difference in the world. So psyched about them. I'm trying to remember everybody else we had on. Let me go through the list. I was really psyched to hear from our good friend Cassie, who did the Peaceful Warrior Project.
I'm so glad she's still doing that too. Like that was a fucking hit, and I was so excited to see everybody perform. So I'm really glad she's keeping that going.
Yep, that's a big deal. Lou Starsky, the guys from Gun Church, right? Never heard of Gun Church before, but what a great idea and what a great explanation as to why they want to do things. We had on, some very famous libertarians, Angela McCardle, Kim Ruff. They were awesome. Patrick Wynn, who's running for governor in Texas, which is great. Victoria Reynolds, chair of the party in Colorado. LP Colorado is having their big convention coming up, lpcolorado.org. Colorado is a wonderful place to visit in the summer. I know so many people they've been to skiing there, but they've never actually been there in the summer. The mountains are amazing. Although in May in the Rockies, there's still skiing going on.
Guys, come down. I will give you the tour. I will give you the Colorado tour. We'll hit all the great spots in Denver. Then we'll go to Greeley. We'll go to all the mountain spots. Okay. It will be your Colorado summer and you'll fucking love it. Just come to Colorado. It's the best state in the union.
I'm not going to get into that argument. You're trying to trap me.
It's the best state in the union. Okay. Think about all 50 states and then think about Colorado. It's the best state.
I did go to high school in Colorado.
Which makes it the best state.
There's certainly something to that.
Look how educated you are. Look at the first leg of life you had in education.
Oh, no question about
Colorado.
it. No question
about it. Colorado's the best state in the union. Thank you.
The one thing I will say about it is that the last time I came to Colorado, I was coming to visit my brother who lives in Denver over in the Park Hill area. And I'm sure he's happy that I'm talking about where he lives on a public broadcast. But Park Hill's big. That's not going to help you guys. But my flight ended up getting delayed. And so I didn't get in until 2:00 in the morning. And I was starving. And I get there and my Uber driver comes to pick me up. And I'm like, hey, this is where I'm going. What's the chance that there's a pizza place open at 2:00 in the morning? And he said, oh, dude, since we legalized cannabis, there are tons of pizza places open at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. One other way that cannabis supports the economy in ways that we don't know. Free market always wins.
Always. Don't even argue about anything. The market will fix it.
So let's talk about our post thing. We're going to take everybody who's on here, list their names and their websites, and add them to the Facebook post and to the YouTube post. Everybody who was on the show, we are going to break your segment up into a little clip, and we are going to give it to you. You can do whatever you want to with it. We don't believe in the copyright for anything like that. You use it as you want. The only thing I would request, no post-production putting a mustache on me like has happened in previous things.
Do it. Do it. Absolutely do it. I wasn't even thinking about doing it, but now that you've mentioned it, I happen to be a meme lord, Dan, and I have a paid subscription to Photoshop. So if you guys don't do it, I will.
All right. Well, that's good. I wish I'd never said it now. Although, come to think of it, you're the one who's been photoshopping my thinning hair. I actually have a full head of hair. And
Dan, I actually have maybe 8 or 9 screenshots of you from your Liberty Power Hour that we do on the People for Liberty page. It's actually a really great segment. I forgot to compliment you on the one you did the other day. Absolutely fantastic about the insulin shots. Like Dan, you're my boss, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't watch them. I don't watch them in their entirety, but that one I watched. And like, it was so interesting. The different perspectives, especially I have a preconceived connotation about Texas in general, but to see that level of community, that coming together, that level of sacrifice was absolutely fantastic. And you, sir, are a fantastic interviewer in general. You have a real talent for it, for making sure that everyone who's on feels important and gets their story and message across.
That's awesome. You know, one of the reasons we do so many Liberty Lunch Power Hours is not everything's for everybody. I can tell you, this is how old I am, but my favorite journalist growing up was Dan Rather.
Really?
Well, first of all, his name was Dan, so that makes him superior. Secondly, people who don't know this about Dan Rather, he ended up becoming this really biased liberal reporter, but he was from Texas. He went to the University of Texas, and he was a hell of a wartime correspondent. He was in the middle of the real shit in Vietnam and did some amazing reporting during that. And, that always stuck with me as a kid. Like, here's a guy who's really putting his life on the line to end the Vietnam War by reporting back truthfully. And, he had to go through some shit because the Army tried to censor him, didn't want his stuff to come back to the United States. He went on, he made up that crap about George Bush. He had some other things in his life that, are unfortunate, but, he was a journalist in the finest sense of the word, in that he wanted the people to know the truth about what was happening. And all right, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then we got to get off the air because
we got to get off.
People talk all the time about there's a problem with the biased media. No, you should want a biased media, because the media that is biased reports more deeply against the people that they're biased against. It's the way that you actually get truth in media, because, if I'm biased in favor of libertarians, I might not give you the full story on a libertarian that I'm covering in my news story. I might forget to mention the fact that, Dan Fishman has this big skeleton in his closet, used to be a Dungeons and Dragons player, something like that. But a Republican is going to come after me. They're going to dig up and they're going to find that dirt on me. And so we actually should be happy for this free market for media. And the free market being biased means that it's your problem if there's bias in the media, because you're only consuming your media from one place. You need to be the person who goes out and looks at all the media and makes an informed decision. And if it doesn't pass the sniff test, maybe you pass on that.
Dan, I'll challenge that it's good to have a biased media, but I will challenge that we don't have a free market in our media, demonstrated by they won't promote libertarian candidates. They won't let us in the debates, So it's good to have a biased media. It's not good to have a restricted media.
Agreed.
Agreed.
This was a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for putting this together. Your creative idea is the thing that made this happen. You, Princess Rivulet, credit to the movement. And thank you so much for having me on board for this.
Thank you for giving me your afternoon. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. I hope everyone watching had a lot of fun. I hope everyone found their next passion project, something to support or something to love, fall in love with the movement again, reignite your fire. It's pretty cold in here. I think it's only 3 degrees in Colorado right now. But if we can light a fire in the movement, we're doing well.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.